Shawty says she's solo, but she don't wanna be alone, no. Don't disturb me when I'm in the zone. She made 100 racks on the road. She got a Birkin bag, she drive a Range Rover, but she don't wanna be alone. I've been living on a fast lane, 22 on my gold chain, Gucci shirt with the ball mains. They switched on me, but I won't change. What you want, yeah, I got it. Yeah, they say that they got me, but they plotting. Yeah, they say that they want me cause I'm popping. Yeah, they say they in the trap, but they ain't. I've been on the road trying to...
Going on, everybody? Here for another podcast today. Let me just turn this music off. Like a button for that. Today, I got a good friend of mine who's an actor. He's a stand-up comic. He's a writer. Really super talented actor. And he's full of energy. He's probably the coolest guy. A lot of people say he looks like Ryan Gosling. And he's gonna be on today. Actually, we're gonna have so many things to talk about. It's funny. Before we even started this podcast, like, he was talking about so many things, and I was just like, no, you gotta hold it for the podcast. You gotta hold up. So it's gonna be ecstatic. I don't even know if we're gonna get around to the gaming, but just a heads up. If we do get around to gaming, we're probably just gonna play like maybe 5 or 6 rounds. I'll put the code in the chat, and then you guys can add it. But hey, this is one of my good friends. It's a talented actor. I'm so lucky to have him on the stream. This is going to be a lot of fun. I want you guys to give it up for my good friend, Darren EISNOR. Yo, what's up? Yeah!
Yes!
Give it up for Darren, yeah!
Yes! It feels great to be here. Great to be alive.
I'm sorry you had to do the applause for yourself.
Well, I know. I was waiting for the applause button. I wanted the canned response.
And
you should bring that in. You need to make that a thing. Like, for anyone you really don't like just like totally patronize them with that.
And I just want to say, as a fan favorite, a lot of you guys love him on the stream. Yesterday he made a face reveal. Today I got him back on here again. Formaz, otherwise known as the lovable Roberto. Give it up for Mr. Roberto on the stream as well.
Roberto!
Wow, thank you guys.
Oh, they're going crazy.
They're going crazy.
He's got girls lining up behind him.
Oh my goodness! Yesterday he had a printer. Today he's got a bunch of girls.
I had to update.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
you got the new software update.
Yeah, exactly.
So yo, to Darren, I'm gonna jump right into it, man. So you got sunlight going on right now, so that means you're in a completely different time zone. You're not even in the same time zone as we are. I mean, we're in.
Where are you?
I'm in Toronto right now, and Mr. Roberto. Roberto, where are you?
I would say Toronto suburbs.
Okay.
He would say, is he scared to say Brampton? Is that what that is?
I was about to say the beach. I was like, yo, I'm just hanging out at Malibu Beach, man. You know?
Yeah, just 1 hour north of Toronto, Malibu Beach.
But yeah, so now you're on the West Coast, is that right? No, not even.
Wrong. It's wrong.
Where
I
is
was
it?
on the West Coast, and then COVID happened, and I had to flee. I was like, man, the last place I want to be. You know where I was?
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you about any of this
No,
stuff.
you didn't.
This is all brand new.
Yeah.
I was hosting a I was like a hostel host.
A hostel?
You know what that is? Like, not
wait,
hostile.
yeah, you told me this. This was like a year ago or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't like an angry host.
No.
It was like I wasn't like the enemy of everyone. I was a hostel where people stay.
Yeah.
From around the world. Yeah. So imagine this: a pandemic breaks out, and you live at a place, like a bunch of shacks and all in the backyard, with people who are flying in from around the world every day. It's like, oh, I know where I don't want to be right now.
But where was this? Was this in Canada or was this in the States?
It's just in Hollywood.
This is in the Hollywood. Oh yeah, because last time we talked, you were telling me about that. And yeah, you had like a tent and everything, man. And I was like, dude, where'd you come from?
I had a tent. I moved up to the room, and it was crazy. I graduated from tent. The thing is, you can live in a tent in LA. You can actually live under the underpass. Nobody cares. I mean, you might have to smoke some meth just to like get past the initiation ritual, but
LA is insane though, man. Like I lived out there for a couple of years, man, and it's like it's no joke out there. Everything's like leveled up. Like even if you want to go like Black Friday shopping, like forget getting any deal. People line up and stay outside the stores. Like they camp up for 3-4 days in advance.
Well, you hear about the scandal behind that though?
No, tell me about it.
No. Oh man, Black Friday. I mean, you hear all these bad things about it, but the worst thing was the name, and they changed it to African American Friday,
Wait,
and
did
Is that a
and
joke?
that
He's
was
no way.
joking, right?
Yeah.
well in some counties maybe.
Is it?
There's
I
no way.
don't.
Eyelash, what's up? Thanks for joining the chat. We got Darren Eisner, huge actor. Wait till we get into his resume and the stuff that he's done.
I mean, I'm not even 6 feet tall. It's like I'm kind of like a below average height
You know,
actor.
Well, can I introduce him?
the girls go crazy for him. You know, I've worked with this guy, and this guy was like a star in the movie. I'm gonna get to that in a bit, actually. Actually, like, so tell us, you just started doing stand-up comedy as well, or did you also used to do it before?
Well, I mean, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, we'll get into it, I guess. I'm doing big moves right now. Is the writing? I'm writing movies.
Like he's
which
a
is
writer.
really
Tell the audience, you just finished writing a script and you sold it.
yeah. I guess that's more like imminent because man, I gotta. What's the time frame to use here? So basically, what happened was, you know what we'll do? We'll start with a comedy. So we'll start in L.A.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, imagine this 2020. How optimistic were you? It's like such a cool looking year.
Yeah.
2020. Everyone's like, yo, new year, new me.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what, buddy? You don't know
I don't think so.
anything.
You don't know
You don't know
anything.
what's gonna happen. So then I fled to Arizona, and then like we went around the state just for fun because it's like there was way less. I don't know if you've been to Arizona, but it's a desert, so you
Dude,
can
it
basically
is-
just avoid people.
We actually talked about it like oh man, it's been a while since I've seen you, but last time we talked you're like, I want to move to Arizona. I'm like, dude, why you want to move to Arizona? It's so hot there. Like I went there, it was so hot, there was nobody in the streets. Like nobody
People that-
walks. Nobody
Well, no, that's interesting that you say that because I saw something that blew my mind. It was the opposite,
Huh.
and this is not a joke. Like I was there, it was literally 100. So I'll do the conversion. It was 110 or 112 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like that's like 40 Celsius,
Yeah.
man. And people were wearing jeans and sweaters. Like people like
Really?
were like,
Oh
oh,
my
it's that's just
God.
they get used to it. But no, you don't want to go there. I don't want to live there, and we gotta keep this secret because no one knows about this. But there's mountains if you go north enough in Arizona, and there's snow up there, and it's nice, beautiful.
You told me that.
Biggest-
You told me about that secret.
Yeah.
You're like, nobody knows about it. I want to go
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna buy a place. I'm gonna live there. I'm like, you serious? And he's like, yeah.
Dude,
man.
yes, that's still in play. But yeah, so the night. So get this. Well, there's a couple COVID things real quick.
Yeah.
About like my trip down. So I came into America
Yeah.
February 29th.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that date means anything to you guys, but the lockdown happened 2 weeks later. So I barely got in.
Yeah.
And then and I swear to you, this happened at the border. I drove down and then I flew.
Yeah.
And so drove down and the guy you guys ever crossed the border in a car? They're a bit more intense.
Oh.
They're very intense, yeah.
Yes. And so the guy's like, he starts saying like, "Should go to LA. Why are you going there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, acting." He's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, you have to be." And I'm like, so I try to throw him a curveball. I'm like, "Well, I'm a little worried." I wasn't worried at the time. And I was like, "Oh, I'm a little worried." He's like, "What are you worried about?" I'm like, well, that Corona, right? And he's like, I swear to God, he says this. Oh man, he hands me back my passport.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. It's not gonna be anything. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's a U.S. official at the time. So that turned out to be wrong. And I swear to you, so then that night, so I was doing some stand-up. I was trying to get on at the Comedy Store, which is like world famous.
Whoa, you try to get
Yeah.
onto the Comedy Store?
Yeah, but there's like amateur nights, so it's like it's not like I'm opening for Joe Rogan or Chris D'Elia.
Okay. I'm about to-
All right, Chris D'Elia. I don't know if you heard about that,
Dude.
but like, yeah.
I never heard about this. You gotta, yeah, man. You're so full of information.
We're all just gonna die one day. So I'm like, yo, let's before COVID, I was like, we're gonna die. Like, so I'm always just trying to do as many things.
Dude,
as
I wish
possible.
when I went to LA, I did my first open mic in LA as well, and I did it mine at
Okay.
yeah. So I did it at Meltdown Comics. I don't know if it's still there. Was that the comic book store that caught on fire and it's all like burned down now,
I would assume half the things in LA are burned down now.
or something like that? So I don't know if it was it Amoeba
It's a safe
Music that
bet.
burned down, or was it
No, I think Amoeba was going out of business.
Oh right.
So.
So I don't know if Meltdown if it burned or was it something else. But anyways,
Carlos, how'd it go? Did you bomb?
dude,
think
I
all
went there and I was like, yo, I'm an improv actor. I'm gonna improvise on stage. So I didn't go off of what I had written. I went and I improvised on stage because I had this poster on the wall and I improvised off of that and like my life and stuff like that. And the hardest part about doing an open mic set is that everybody who's in the audience is a comedian, so nobody laughs. So
Yes. Yes.
You know?
And that's it's so tough because it's hard to gauge that
Yeah.
because you don't know if you're bad or not.
Exactly.
Because you might have been bad.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
in hindsight, yeah, I did like yeah. If you go to those ones, it's not that. It's not that they don't want to laugh,
Yeah.
although it's part of it. I don't know if you hung out with comics enough. A lot of them are jaded and depressed and angry people. Funny enough, the funny people, they got problems. But yeah, the big thing is they're thinking about their own bits. They're comparing it.
Yeah.
You go in front of a bunch of drunk frat boys.
Yeah.
You can say poop poop pee pee. You kill.
That's facts.
So yeah, man, no. So you got to keep at it, and so that's the nice thing about these open mics at the big ones. Obviously, it's more nerve wracking. So I was only doing this for like I said, I was only there for like 2 weeks before the pandemic. But I got the best thing, man, the best thing. So if you ever go back, and if anything is ever back to normal, I recommend this. It's called, I don't remember. It's called like cafe comedy or something like that.
Okay.
And here's the deal: you bring 5 or 6 people.
Okay.
And you can enter for free in a cash prize competition.
Okay.
Now, this is brilliant. This is really smart, really good, because everyone's bringing non-comic friends.
Right.
So you get like 10 competitors. Dude, you're performing in front of what, 60 to 80 people or something like that, right? Depending on who's all there. It was a packed house.
Really?
And yeah, man. Well, what is it? You have 10 let's do math. 10 times 6. So 60 people at least.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a couple bonus people coming in off the street.
What?
And
what's this place called?
I can get it for you after shoot. They're gonna hit. Oh, I got it. Fourth Wall Comedy.
Wow. Okay.
Fourth Wall. Shout out to Fourth Wall Comedy in LA because these guys are so cool, so nice.
Yeah.
They give you free beers if you're performing. PBR baby, all class, all the way.
Yeah.
And and you get it, and they record it for you, so you get some high quality. And I did all right. In hindsight, I could have done better, but you can actually tell when your jokes are landing or not.
Dude,
because it's not a bunch
amazing. You know what? I wish when I went, I wish I had a friend who was also doing stand-up as well, because like it kind of sucks doing it all on your own. I mean, maybe you were there with your girlfriend or you had like some support, but I was on my own, and so like.
Well, that's at a hostel. You can just invite yo come to my show. Well, no, you got to come or you're kicked out of the house, bro.
So you had friends that came over. So that's awesome, you know, and like you could try your stuff on them and things like that. But yeah, stand up is freaking scary, man. Like kudos to you for jumping on. But you're not a guy that gets scared. You're the guy that's like, yo, all right, like, you know what? I don't have sure.
Well, this was like an interesting night, man. So in West Coast, you're a few hours back. So I swear to you, on the way to the comedy show, we're all walking. It's kind of nearby, and I see 3 things on my phone. I see 3 things. One, this is all imminent news. The NBA season has been canceled. Trump has banned Europe, and the craziest one, Tom Hanks has it. So the Tom Hanks disease, man. I think they're calling it. That's a Norm Macdonald joke. Yeah, he's like, unfortunately, some of our friends have succumbed to Tom Hanks disease. It's very, that's a Norm Macdonald. You gotta be Norm Macdonald to pull that one off. You gotta kind of talk a little bit like this, like. Dude. Norm Macdonald, he kind of has a certain way of talking.
That's not bad.
You guys ever seen?
Talks.
Just a little bit. He's kind of like a drawl. Anyway, and he's a middle-aged man, so it's like he's like kind of got a grumpy look to him. I'm like the opposite. I'm like a crazy weird pit bull, but mixed with like a golden retriever, I guess.
And you got that surfer hair. I always picture you like whenever if Darren's talking, I was like, he's always talking in that surfer voice, you know? Like, what's up, man?
Yeah. Well, I cut my hair short for like a few months. It grows back so fast, and I didn't book anything. And I was like, we're not doing that anymore. Well, we'll do that later. But so yeah, I saw that, and like I looked around, like, and I didn't know what to make of it. To be honest, I mean, I'm at the point now. I'm like, dude, if I get it, I die. It is what it is. But at the time, I was like, I don't know what this is. No one knew what this was.
And you were there with like no medical insurance or nothing.
I had travel insurance. Right. I had travel. But yeah, we're all crammed into this room together. And so I'm like, I'll wait for everyone to make the jokes. And I'm like, dude, no one's making the corona joke. So I went up there, like, I was doing all right. And so I was just kind of vibing. I was like, yo, what's up with everyone in this room right now? You're all crammed in. You know, like, we're all going to die, right? like this was actually, this would be considered a super spreader today. So it was good. It was fun. Anyway, yeah. So it was fun. I don't know. I was doing all right. I was growing. Dude, I wasn't like I wasn't killing it, but I was.
Dude, if you're ever back here, man, let's do some open mics together and things like that.
Would love to do it. It's so good. Your balls grow so much bigger, man. Because like nothing. When you lay it all on the line, and you tell a story and you build it up and you drop your punchline,
and nobody says anything.
And the 5 people in the room don't laugh at you. You're like, oh, I know what humiliation is. It's so good.
You know
There's nothing
You know,
worse.
it's funny. Yo, I had the same situation happen yesterday. We had a whole setup for Mr. Wee Wee Croissant. It's like they're like, "Oh, tell your Titanic story, tell your Titanic." I'm like, "All right,
Oh
cool.
my God.
I don't want to tell it." He's like,
Oh
"No,
my
no,
God.
tell it, tell it." I'm like, "No, it's gonna take too long." And he's like, "No, tell it."
Oh,
So I
man.
was like, "All right, fine, I want to tell it." I start my sentence. He goes and grabs his phone. He starts going on his phone. He's like, "Oh wait, the story's for me."
Dude, disclaimer, at this point I was like high outside of my like head. It was like I was in a different world. Sorry, Dipal.
Darren, what's going on? What happened, man?
Well, I'm a dumb person. So I was enjoying your story, and then I noticed I was blurry, and I swear to God, I don't know if anyone on the live stream noticed that. I blew at the camera like it was gonna make it not blurry. I was like, and it didn't work. I was like, oh shoot, I should probably touch it. That would make more sense. So
It didn't
we
look
did that.
blurry, did it? I don't know.
It was, but now
No,
it's
no,
not.
now it's good. Now it's
Now
good.
it
Tilt it
is.
down a little bit more so you can get a little less headroom.
Get that British flag in
There
there.
you go, man.
That's it's just a comfortable shirt, really. My mom was born there
Oh,
though.
yeah? Oh,
Represent.
you're part British.
Part British. My last name's Eisner.
Jesse Eisner,
Here's
right?
the thing. No, Eisenberg would be that's the most Jewish name in the world, and that goes into what I'm saying. So like Eisner, I feel like I should keep it because people in Hollywood might think I'm Jewish, and maybe that books me some more
I
roles.
think you're related to.
Because
They think you're related to Jesse.
It used to. Yeah. Well, Michael Eisner, the guy who freaking ran Disney.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, yo, man.
I could have. I don't know, man. Well, I wish I had that money. It'd be nice, right? But the Michael Eisner money.
The chat saying to Mr. Wee Wee Croissant, man. She wanted to ask if Wee Wee Croissant would smoke. You're gonna smoke right now, Wee Wee Croissant?
I don't smoke. I do the spray.
Oh, he does a spray. Okay. I think.
Wait, who's asking?
Eyelash.
What's the
Eyelash.
spray?
Does Wee Wee Croissant smoke? She's probably gonna ask you like, yo, you want to join the smoke party? And you're gonna be like, no, I'll pass.
No, just tell her that I like to keep it like discreet, so I just do a spray. It's like THC, CBD.
Yeah, there's a spray apparently. I didn't know this
It's basically like an edible. Yeah, now you know.
So you like spray it like?
Yeah,
like
under
that?
the tongue. Yeah, you do like 3 sprays, and you're good for the night.
That gets you high
Yeah, for sure.
on drugs?
Yeah. Well, you can get like full CBD, or you can get like more THC. So
Okay.
the more THC you get, the higher you get.
I want to ask you guys this because everyone talks about how great CBD is.
Yes.
What's the deal? What's going on with it? Give me the lowdown on CBD.
All right, I'm gonna give you lowdown.
No,
I don't smoke, never have, so I have no idea about any of this. Only Mr. Wee Wee Croissant can answer this question.
I have no idea either. It just like feels good. That's as much as I can tell you.
I know that like two people do CBD. Guys who look like this dude with the afro and sunglasses, and then old people who say it helps their bones.
Oh.
So
Yes.
I don't know what it does. I'm like, I feel like this is two different audiences here.
You should
Two different
try.
demographics.
You should try
Eyelash
it.
is in our chat. She's saying CBD affects everyone differently. Well, Eyelash, we got to have you on the stream at one point. You got to co-host, and you can be our CBD expert. Darren obviously is like a smoke expert, man. He started off even before the show started. He's like, he's got his drinks, he's got his cigar, he got this giant bottle. He's like, yo, I'm not an alcoholic, but go check this out. Darren, you want to show the people your giant bottle?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna let you down there. No, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I never showed you a bottle. You're just freaking smoking crack, you freaking crackhead.
People must think like, yo, man, this guy.
What is that?
So this is called whoa. This inhale. I just thought like all this was going right up into my lungs as I was doing Buffalo Trace.
I like
heard
it.
of it?
You know,
No, I like it.
You know what that is?
I'm not sure if I've seen it in Canada.
Roberto, do you know what that is?
No, I have no. Is it whiskey?
Bourbon whiskey. Yeah, it's bourbon.
Yeah.
So this would be Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and like, I don't know. I'm always like a scarcity guy, and like it said like special deal in the store. I'm like, what's the deal? They're like, oh, nothing. It's just like people like it, so they'll buy it. Really, I don't know.
It looks good.
If someone could tell me like, oh man, look at this freaking piece of poo, I'm like, oh, I don't want to look at that. They're like, yo, but no one wants it. I'm like, yo, give that to me, dude.
That's
I don't want
funny.
that poo.
That's
Get
so
that
funny.
freaking scarcity, man. It's stock.
Scarcity. Yo, that's jokes. That's jokes. Yo,
Dipal, can I say
yeah,
something?
yeah, go ahead.
So you said you have Darren Eisner on the
Yeah.
show, right? So what I did is I googled this guy. This guy has the best IMDb bio I've ever seen.
Yes, we got to talk about it.
Have you
I've
read
read it, and we didn't even. We're already 20 minutes, and we didn't even talk about what we were meant to talk about. But since you pulled it up, yo, talk about it. Read it out to the chat.
Can I just read the first
Okay, go
paragraph?
ahead.
It says Darren Eisner is a constantly pondering human being, currently residing on planet Earth, deeply nestled within the confines of the Milky Way galaxy. Side note, he also enjoys being an actor. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't smoke a lot of weed.
But
when
I
I
write
do,
my IMDb bio.
I write my IMDb bio.
Jokes. That's like something that intro that you wrote on your IMDb. That's like something that Roberto Ramirez would write. You know what I mean?
That's why I connected, yo.
I quite honestly was high, and
Yeah.
I looked at it the next day. I was like, oh no, I think it took a while because I don't like check myself out all the time. But I was like, next time I sometimes I'll Google myself to make sure there's no crap on there, and I was like, whoa, what's this? I'm like, oh, it's pretty good.
I'm gonna post this.
It's unique.
It's original.
Yo,
and you also missed
Yeah.
this one. I think there's this one tip underneath there. It's like a quote, and it says that this is how he became an actor.
That's true. I wrote that sober.
You wrote that sober. It's like one day at again eating shawarma, he just had this epiphany to go become an actor.
That's literally what happened.
The last line, his future seems very promising.
His future seems very promising. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wrote that. I don't know, like, because some of these, I think that's like less pretentious. Some of these are so cringe, like even like the top people. It's like, I don't know, like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like the esteemed actor from and he was taught under the wisdom of Leonardo da Vinci, friggin' taught him down in Venice. And I'm like, dude, it's Leo. Just say, yeah. His bio should be, it's Leo.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Yo, the chat's asking, is that your IMDb or is that your Tinder?
I'm off Tinder. I'm getting married on Saturday.
Yo, this Saturday you're getting married?
This Saturday. That's why I was like, dude, we got to do this soon.
Yo, my God. I knew you were getting married, but I was like, yo, it's happening this Saturday? Wow. Yo.
Oh shit! Yeah. Congrats.
Congratulations, man. Like last time we spoke, I was like, yo, he's single. Actually, no, I think you just started in a relationship.
I was maybe
just started, and then
I don't know. I didn't have relationships I had women. But
these are his exes, yo.
They were lovely people. They're great women, but they were not relationships. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's weird. I went to LA of all places, and I lived there for 2018 for the whole year basically. And I came to God. I became I'm pretty into Christianity now. So, I mean, I'm still smoking cigars and drinking bourbon. Like, everyone thinks like, yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, you don't want to. If I'm an alcoholic every day, that's not living according to God. But Jesus didn't turn water into juice. He turned into wine, baby. So he drank a little bit here and there.
You went back into religion, and then you came back in 2019. Like, you tell us about this women that you met. So, like, you met these women off of Tinder, or you just met them in LA? What happened?
Okay, you're talking about like. I was just saying in general, for basically all my life, I never really, since like from like high school till now, I didn't really have proper relationship, like in terms of dating. Like I would have like whenever the girl would be like, so what are we? I'd be like, I'm just like seeing what's like. I was just kind of a bum, man. Well, I'll just say this. So, I had a lot of fun. I was I had some partying. I was partying a lot, man, and I'm glad I got that out because honestly, once you get enough partying in you, you're kind of like, well, you gotta hope for this because you gotta hope you reach a limit, and then you're like, you don't have to be like, well, I'm not doing anything fun anymore, but you gotta be like, you gotta like, oh well, what's next? And honestly, there's so much more meaning now, and of course, some people don't have that limit, and then you become Charlie Sheen, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a Charlie Sheen. Because then you get AIDS, and
the chat agrees. There's Darren's about partying about with the limit. So like you have your limits. But tell me about this. So like I get it. Roberto also gets it as well. Hey, Darren's a good-looking guy. All the girls came to him since high school. So you're telling me this is the one time that you went and you found the girl that you wanted, and you're like, yo, she's the one. Let's get married.
Where I got this girl? Not on Tinder. No. On a Facebook group.
Oh.
I got it like. It's like a you call it a shit posting group. I don't know if you've heard of that shit posting.
Tell me about this.
So shit posting is basically just like you posting memes and stupid stuff. But this was like a philosophy group, so we're like debating. We're not just debating about like what music we like. It's like what way we view the world. And so, man, if you think about it, like that's like you basically, if you watch some girl just posting about things she values this much, it's like a Tinder bio that actually means something. And like,
that's smart.
I don't know how much of me was. I'm a pretty dumb guy.
But you
were
in a philosophy group, and you're like, I'm gonna pick up smart girls, and then you were like, yo, this girl's really opinionated. I'm going for her.
Well, yeah, she's she's intelligent, man. Like, I need a girl to push me, because like, as dumb as I am, I do like to ponder lots of things, and I like to think a lot. I try to think. It's like it's hard for me. I gotta squeeze my, then I gotta thought out. But she's so great. And here's the thing, like, if you are gonna get married, which is I recommend it eventually. You don't want an idiot, man. Like a body will go. We're all gonna be saggy, gross people one day, and
That's
so
true.
you know we gotta get some.
We're all gonna be saggy, gross people one day.
So, dude, that's gone. So you can just two ways you can go with that. You can try to be a Jack Nicholson or a Leo and date someone who's like 18 years old when you're 60. Or and they're obviously in it for money only. Here's the thing. I actually had this thought back in the day. I used to always say stupid things like, "Well, man, I'll just party till I'm in my 40s or 50s, then I'll settle down." It's like, dude, well, and then once I'm famous, and I'm like, well, dude, ideally that's not it, because like right now I'm in this weird zone where I got an IMDb, I'm making moves, but I'm not like the Darren Eisner. I don't people aren't chasing me down the street yet. So this girl, she bought the stock when it was like kind of low. Like I like, it's like.
So what you're saying is that you like it whenever, you like it when the girl, goes for you whenever you don't have that rich and fame, and then you build a life and a career with her, so that she's not a gold digger, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like there was basically this is it, guys. We can have our goals. We can have our this is how I want it. This is how I plan my life to be. But we learned from 2020, dude, you have to be adaptable. You gotta I didn't see this come. I'm living in Indiana right now. What the heck is Indiana? Where is that? Can you find that on a map? No, you can't. No one can. I can't. No.
Indiana.
So it's like everyone. Honestly, I have my manager in LA. He's like, so where are you again? Kansas? And he's not. And I'm like, no, dude. I was like, what's the other one? Wyoming? I'm like, no, dude, the other one.
Wisconsin?
Yeah. Just name the other every state that voted Trump. It's no, one of those.
So you're in Indiana. You found this girl, and just so for the chat doesn't know, and the chat's saying, yo, this girl's totally invested in you, so that, they're happy about it. So one thing is that you met this girl, and 1 year later, fast forward, you're getting married this Saturday. Is that what's happening?
We started dating in June. It's a little bit more, but I mean, here's the thing, man. How many relationships have you guys observed or been in where where someone was dating for many years and then it was just the most toxic thing you ever saw?
I've definitely seen people they would go through there's a reason why people have this thing called the 3-year curse. It's like 3 years and all of a sudden it breaks. Or I've seen where people have been in a relationship for 5 years and it breaks. I went through a breakup myself, and that literally was about to hit 3 years. I was in it for about 2 years, and I tried to repair it for a year, but I wasn't able to do it. But I mean, I know exactly what you're feeling, man. Whenever I was with when I was with my ex, when I met her, man, I was like, she's the one, and I was ready to get married the next week. You know what I mean? I mean, forget even 1 year, man. I was ready the next month. I'm like, let's fucking do this, But it was long distance. Lucky you, man. You flew down there, and you're like, I'm living with you, and
didn't fly. Drove 8-hour drive, baby. 8-hour drive through the middle of America. That's a good drive, by the way, because there's no traffic. Because no one knows where Indiana is, so you just get there, and everyone's everyone else is just like, where am I? What's going on? No one knows what's happening. It's just
my girl was in the UK, so I had to fly there almost every other month. You know what I mean?
I'm with. Huh? I had a girl that I was. I'm we're you and I can tell we're both crazy people because I had a girl who was in Poland that I was e-dating for a while.
Whoa! How long was this?
That was, man, it went on for almost a year, and then I was like, okay, I got it. I hadn't seen her for the whole freaking year. Dude, I'm a freaking weird guy.
Dude, I'm weird too, man.
No, we've all done that.
But yeah, I went there. Here, I learned a lesson though. It was but it's a fun story now, right? So I went there. First of all, I've been to Poland. No one's been to Poland. No one's been to Indiana. So two places no one's been, but I've been. and everyone got really worried too because my last name actually historically is Eisenhower. So whenever like a German starts walking through Poland, everyone gets freaked out. It's just like red flags. That's a historical joke.
So wait, are you Polish at all?
No, I'm saying I'm part German.
Oh, you're part. Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that. I thought you were maybe like
before everything broke out.
Ah, okay.
Before, yeah, like in the 1890s. So we dodged both those world wars. We're on Canadian side.
So you're like third generation Canadian or something.
Yeah, well, on my one side, on the other side, my mom came over. My mom came over from England in the 80s.
Ah, okay.
So when she was
all right, so she's British as well. I mean, I went to England. It was pretty nice.
Where did you go?
I mean,
Sorry to interrupt you, but where'd you go?
I went to London. The girl was from Leicester. But so,
good guy.
Huh?
Leicester, nice guy.
What's a nice guy?
Leicester.
Leicester's a nice place?
Leicester's a nice guy.
No, he's a good guy. You told me you went to Leicester. He's like that's the British guy named Leicester. I think we all made him.
Guy. He makes the best fish and chips.
I gotta stop being stupid.
No, there's a place called Leicester for the people that are confused.
They have a good soccer team.
And it's like a 3-hour drive from London, which is like hell because when you land when you land there, you got to take this bus ride, which is like 4 or 5 hours to get there. So like you not only do fly there for like 8 hours, and you take another 4 or 5 hour bus ride to get there, and then you finally get there and you get to see her. So I did that for like almost every other month, and it was, I mean, to me it was worth it because I was like, I want to see her. I don't want to be in a relationship and like not see her. And then like I'm the kind of guy that I'm so picky, like pretty much single my entire life, and this was my first real relationship, and I took it so seriously, and I was just like I was ready to marry her and everything. She was like my dream come true. I won't drag on the story, but like one thing I did notice was that when you gotta like have a long distance relationship, it kind of sucks because like you don't, like, I mean, what I noticed, this is just from my experience, is that you don't really get to know the person as if they were in the town, in the city with you. Like if I spent 1 month knowing somebody here versus spending 6 months in long distance, like it's like I'm getting to know a virtual girl, and this is her personality virtually, because when I saw her for the first day, like I learned so much about her that I never would have learned virtually. And so like that's one of like I think the caveats of like a long distance, and that's why probably, knowing me, I don't want to ever get into a long distance relationship ever again, but knowing me, I'm stupid and I'm weird, so I'll probably do it again anyways.
Well, man, so I feel we're vibing so hard right now. So here's me going psychological analysis on it all. So I think what we did is when you do that, both of us are allowed to, well, I mean, both parties, so us and then the girl, we're able to present, even if we're doing video chats and stuff, we're able to present ourselves like in the best way we can, and then us, we're in our mind when we're not seeing them on the chat or not talking to them, we're able to imprint our ideal girl on them, and then we let them know because we're typing. They're like, when you're first getting to know them, what do you like? I like this, like, and then we're both just showing what we want to see. Then you meet up, and even so, for me and the Polish girl, I was like, oh man, this girl's great. And then I was there for a week and a half, and like on the last day or something like that, I was like, oh dang, I was like, this is a great person and a great girl, but I can just sense she's not the one. And that's something, and exactly, you would have been able to sense that on like probably the third date or fifth date or something like that.
Exactly, and that's one thing, and
in person you can't replace
you just can't replace in person. And but to me it was just like I still was going for it. I was like, screw it, man, like, like I'll tell you my feelings, I'll tell you everything, like we'll make it work through communication, and I think it is possible. I'm still a big believer on like making it work through like communication and things like that, but like you got to have two people on the same page. You can't. Here's the
lesson, dude. Sorry to cut you off, but I gotta say, because it's the most important thing in the world. See her first. See her like right away.
That's what I should have done that.
And not too far. Not too far. Do it like I went to Indiana, so Poland, Indiana, difference. Like we're cutting down.
Yeah.
And I went with it after 1 month of talking online and like really hitting it off. I was like, whoa, because I learned my lesson. I said, we got to meet now to make sure this
is legit. And I was gonna do that, but because this was basically my first. Like I was like friggin' like this is my technically my second relationship, but like the first one was just kind of like it was like total crap. But like this one was like my first one. Like I went like all in, and it just in this relationship, like when I met her, like, because I had no experience in relationship, though I knew a lot about it and how to make it work and academically and all that kind of stuff. But one thing I didn't know about, and I didn't have any friends I can confide in or to guide me, was like, I was like, what should I do? If I had known you that you went to friggin' Poland and did all this, I'd be like, dude, like, tell me about your experiences. I'll figure it out. And then, but so I was gonna jump on a flight like after like we first started talking. I was gonna literally jump on a flight like 2 weeks later, just go to England and be like, let's just meet for a weekend. Like, fuck this. Like, I want to see you, right? And then like I guess she didn't think it was such a great idea, and you know she had a busy schedule and whatnot. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll see you 6 months from now. We'll schedule it. And that was probably like the dumbest move ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I guess I'll fill in one more blank here. So it was a third time's the charm kind of thing. There was a second girl from Florida. Texas, Florida, but then she was living in Florida. Complicated. But I was living in LA, and she had friends in LA, and she kept saying, "Well, I'll come out and see you there." And she kept like kind of getting cold feet. I could tell she kept doing it to the point where I was like, "I'm coming to see you." That was less time than the Polish girl and less investment. We weren't dating or anything.
How far was she? Where was she?
She was in Florida.
Okay.
So I saw her on. But I did it. I kind of planned it nice. So I was like in LA, going to go back to Canada. I was like, okay, I'm gonna book a flight to Florida, and then 2 days later I'll go to Canada, like from Florida. So it's like a connecting flight, you know. And so we met. I'm so glad we did it because like I went there, and once again wasn't like I could tell. Oh, not the girl. And then she was like, and I could tell. Well, first of all, I'm a crazy dude. I'm very over the top extrovert. I score 100% extroversion on all those tests, and.
Dude,
and she was like, I could tell I was overwhelming her. You're probably similar.
No, you know it's funny. Like, see, I come off as an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm an introvert. So like, I think you're really lucky that you're an extrovert. You rate as an extrovert, and we see you, you are an extrovert. Whereas for me, people see me and they think I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. What about you, Roberto? Are you also an extrovert, introvert, and have you done any long distance relationships?
I don't know. Most of the tests I do, some of them say introvert, some of them say extrovert. So I guess I'm down the middle.
Okay, interesting.
But I have a question for you, Dipal. Yeah. So Dipal, you said when you saw her in person, did you get any red flags?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No?
Huge red flags. And I told her, like, because I'm the guy that's all about honesty. And so I was just like, listen, if I can be honest with you, and if you have the courage to be honest as well, anything's possible, and this can work. And so I trusted her blindly. Like, if you look at my Instagram post, like, I lay it all out. Like, I trusted her completely blindly. Yeah. And I let her know, like, listen, like, I've been hurt in the past, and there's a reason why I was single for the rest of my life, and like I was just waiting for the right one. And I was like, and I to me, this was her. She was a religious girl, and you know, she was gonna be like technically like in our religion, it's basically equivalent to a nun. But I guess she met me, and I kind of pulled her away from God, kind of a thing, and now she wants to be with me. And so
the Scorpio guy, man, the Scorpio.
So the way I saw it was like, to me, it was like this was like the destiny. I was like, yo, like she wasn't gonna be with anyone other than me. And so like I told her what the red flags I saw. I told her exactly what it was, and I thought, you know, she would do something about it, and you know, she'd be on my side. But I guess over time, what I learned was that when you be honest and you tell somebody, you're basically giving up and showing up your cards. So if they want to screw you over, they're gonna be like, oh, he told me all, you know, everything that he knows and sees, and you know, they'll just be better at hiding it. And so that's, you know, what it really got me, and that's probably one of the biggest regrets of going through a relationship, and you know, going so far. I proposed, and I got married to her, and like all these things.
Wow. You did this.
Yeah, I did this.
Dude, this guy just dropping this casual. Yeah. He's like, of course I proposed, we got married. You know,
I mean, you know, like because she was like, hey, like hurry up and propose, or I'm gonna propose. And so I told my friends and family, they're like, you're gonna make the girl propose? Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, hey, fine, I'll hurry up. And so like she's like, hurry up and propose. So I went and I planned it out, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna propose on this time. I proposed. She's like, hurry up, let's get married. So like literally like 2 months later, I married her. You know, and then 2 months later, she cheats on me, and I was just like, fuck, you know. And I was like, what? It just came out of that was probably like the biggest. It was probably like the biggest shocker in my life. I guess like you could just believe, like my world just kind of collapsed, and like
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, you know, and like just like and yes, everyone's gonna tell me, you should have saw the red flags. You should have trusted. And I'm like, yes, everything I preach to people or tell people, it's all valid, all worked. I just didn't apply to my life because I thought she was a unicorn and I thought she was, you know, beyond any girl I've ever met. So like I thought she could surpass, you know, the average person. I thought she was an outlier.
Yeah.
She wasn't just the average person on the curve. And
question, did you learn from it?
what did I learn from it?
Did you learn from it?
I did learn from it in the sense that like
Trust your gut
yeah,
instinct.
I trust my gut instincts, and I've learned that in the past, and I told her like, you know, like one of my lessons I've learned in the past is learn like the trust your gut instincts as well, and I said like I don't want to be hurt like that again, and I thought by you know like telling her all these things and that what I've you know I've been hurt in the past, and even when I would tell the story like she could see the pain in my eyes, and she's like, oh, I see the pain in your eyes and I feel so sad, I feel like crying when you tell me the story, and then she goes and does the same thing to me and even worse, and I'm like, okay, well what happened? Was I just living through like 2 years with an actress that just made up a backstory and lived a certain way, and all of a sudden at the end of the scene she's like, well, this is the real me, and sorry you didn't get to know me and you know and know anything, and it was just like oh man, it just was really really hurtful, and I was just like why would you do that? Even if you didn't want to be with me, even if you want to use me, like just come clean eventually, you know. And so that was that. But yeah, did I learn something from it? To be quite honest, I did learn from it, but I don't know if I want to apply it to my life. And that's maybe it's a stupid thing. Maybe it's a Scorpio thing. It's to do.
I'm just kidding
But
about that.
but here's the thing: when people get burned and they go through hardships in life, or like relationships, and I've seen this in other girls as well. And I'll always try and warn them because like I'll be like, hey, listen, like you know, right now you're very innocent and you're allowing yourself to be opened up and be very vulnerable in your relationship, but you know, if you get burned in this relationship, which it looks like you are going to be, I don't think you should harden up. And usually what happens is they do harden up, and it's just like a defense mechanism. And I feel sad for them, and then they'll come to me later, and they'll be like, you told me so, and like I screwed up, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like a lot of people they do that, but the worst part about it is that like girls or even males, you know, they'll go through a bad relationship, and then they'll kind of change themselves to like it's like almost like you're putting on armor, you know. You put your defenses up, you'll become tougher. I had another guest on earlier, and his name was Question, and he's like, you know, he likes girls who look like bitches, you know what I mean? And there's a reason why a lot of these girls have this bitch face. It's because they've gone through hardship earlier, and they just kind of have this defense mechanism going on. But like that's the thing. I want to preserve not getting hard. I want to still stay delicate and keep it.
Well, dude, you gotta be able to get hard sometimes, man. Otherwise, it's another problem altogether.
And we're actors, so like we're taught to like friggin'.
That was a dick joke, by the way.
Oh wait, say it again. I didn't catch it. Say it again.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, you know, you don't want to get hard, and I'm like, well, you gotta be able to get hard sometimes. Otherwise, that's just a whole nother batch problem.
Yeah, I'm so ashamed of myself.
It's okay. I was trying to slip that in, and you tried moving on. I'm like, no, we gotta stop you.
That was a dick joke. Because Mr. Urmaz would always catch it. Roberto would always catch the dick joke.
I would always catch that. I miss it.
Because
it makes sense the other way too. It makes sense the clean way too. Like you gotta sometimes be hard, right?
Yeah. Just the dry humor, baby.
So yeah, man. So like, I don't know, man. So we'll see what happens in the future. I don't know. It's like to me. I don't know. I was like, let's see what happens. I mean, I you know, kudos to you for like you going through all these long distance relationships and seeing the red flags, and you got out quick. You know, for me it was just like, I saw the red flags. I told her these are red flags, and I was just like, this isn't looking good. And she's like, no, if it's not you, it's nobody. And I'm like, yo, that's like a ride or die kind of girl, you know, like. Yeah. And then she's like, and even when we had you know, issues, and I was like, you know, I don't think this is gonna work because like for example, like I want to have kids, right? Like that's like I want kids so badly. Growing up as a kid, I used to collect things like my Super Nintendo, and I used to put it away nicely because I was like, when I get older and I have kids, I need to show my kids my Super Nintendo and my games. Like I wanted kids that badly. And so whenever we first started talking, I told my ex, I was like, listen, I want to have kids. And she's like, I'd never want to have kids. I'm like, oh, well, then I'm like, you're not the one for me. Then like you know, we'll just stay friends and just talk. And she's like, no, I want to be with you. Like, okay, fine, I'll have kids and all these type of things. And I'm like, I don't want to change you. So then a year later, we were dating, and then I guess she talked to like some religious people, and the religious people convinced her to not have kids again. So she's like, by the way, I don't want to have kids anymore again. And I'm like, what?
Whoa! What religious people told her to not have kids? That's like
the people that convinced her to live like a nun, technically. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
that's the
guess.
thing. Like, I guess whenever you kind of pull a girl away from religion, who was gonna be in this road to being a nun, there's a lot of people, like even in her family, that were like, "How dare he steal my
So
girl, my daughter," or like, and make her like live the path of sin or something, and they're trying to convince her like, "No, no, you need to go and serve God and live a life of being a nun," and then she was like, "No, screw it, I'm gonna go with him," and so like, anyways, going back to like, she got influenced a little bit. I'm not blaming those people. It's her decision, whatever she wanted. But when she said to me, "I don't want to have kids anymore," I was just like, okay, I'm already in deep. It's already been a year, and I was just like, okay, wow, this is gonna change me. Like, I want you to know that if I accept this in my being, that we're not gonna have kids, like, it's gonna change me as a person, and it's gonna change the dynamics of the relationship. I don't know if you're ready for that. And then she's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, okay, fine. So it did change a lot of things, and I accepted it. So like right now, even though I'm broken up, even if I go in another relationship, I'm already with the mindset like, okay, I'm probably not gonna have kids, because that's how deep I let it go inside myself,
Mm,
you know.
mm.
And so yeah, anyway, so that was that. And then once she cheated on me, she was like, hey, listen, I'm young, so if it's not you, I'm gonna have someone else. I'm like, whoa, 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 what happened?
What
What
the
happened to the
hell?
idea of
What
like,
the
if it's
hell?
not you, it's nobody? Now all of a sudden you're throwing at me like, if it's not you, well, I can find someone else.
Oh,
I think you
that's messed
dodged a
up.
major bullet, man. Here's the thing:
Yeah.
you can compromise on. Oh, she doesn't like the same band or musician as
Yeah,
me. Okay, I
Yeah.
can deal with that. Oh, not the same movies. I
yeah,
guess. I mean, those are some kind of important
yeah,
things, but it's like, dude, if you guys don't share, if you don't share your ideals on
yeah,
marriage,
Mhm.
yeah,
children, those are the biggest
yeah.
two. Genuine outlook on life, and that can be politics and religion, like those things. Essentially, they say don't talk about those things first date, dude.
Talk about everything,
Dodge the bullet or jump in.
dude.
Like,
Mhm.
you have to talk about those things right
Dude,
away.
I'm like you as well. Like,
That's
I jump into
I
every
agree.
conversation. Like, when
Yeah,
I
I
first
agree.
meet somebody, like, I friggin' go hard. And some people get overwhelmed. Like, whoa,
Mhm.
whoa, whoa, what is this, an interview? And there's just too many things to talk about. And I'm like, no, screw it. Like, even when I invited you on this podcast, I was like, listen, we're gonna talk about anything and everything, and we're gonna go deep.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like that as well when I talk to people, even if I'm like, I don't date, but like, just in general, having conversations with anybody, like, I will go deep. And if I'm gonna date somebody, I'm definitely gonna talk about it, deeply, and on the first date and anything like that. But yeah, like, it's funny, like, people say like, oh, you dodged a bullet and all these type of things, and even along the way, I saw all these red flags, but I was just like, no, I love her, so like I'll deal with all of it as long as there's honesty and there's trust. And
Mhm.
then in the end, even that was gone, and I'm like, fuck. And even then, I still tried to save it for a year, and it just wasn't happening.
7 billion other people, and about whatever. A majority of those are girls these days. The majority of the world is girls, so you got lots of options, baby. And it'll happen. Don't worry. You're not.
It's fun.
We got time. We got
Yeah, I
time.
guess so. I guess so. But like, and that's why when you'll see things like on my Instagram, like now, like I'm posting photos and all these things. If you look at my life, like for the past 3 years, I was not even doing any photo shoots. Like, I think the last photo shoot I did was like 3 years or before that. Because I was just like, when I was with this girl, my life was this girl. Like, I had my camera and I was like taking photos of her. Like, it was just all about her. So like, I guess once this whole thing ended, I was just like, okay, well, I guess I can't live my life through her anymore. I'm gonna have to live my own life, whatever's left of it. So that
Mhm.
was it. So I just kind of like, let's go, steamroll ahead and keep moving forward. What about you, man? Have you ever gone through any breakups which is really kind of like tore you apart?
No. Yeah. Well,
Genius. He's a smart man, guys.
uh,
He's not as dumb as you think.
Uh,
um, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I only had a few relationships. I mean, yeah, that Polish girl. It's weird. Like, I was the one who said, "Hey, it's actually not what we thought it was." And even then, after we ended because I was back in
Yeah,
Canada by
yeah,
then, because I thought it
yeah.
over, I was like, we can't do this. It's wasting both of our
Right.
time. And so I said, "Hey, it's not fair for me, not fair for you," and I meant it. And I said, "Hey, we gotta go separate ways." And when I pushed end on that Skype call, friggin' wept, dude.
Yeah.
So that's probably I guess I was torn up for that for a little bit,
Oh,
but
okay. Yo, that surprised
but
me, man.
yeah,
I never, like, you sounded like a guy like, yo, no, I never get my heart broken. I'm like, yo, you wept? Yo, that's a curveball just there,
yeah,
right, man?
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I wasn't it wasn't affecting me for months and
Yeah.
a year or
Well, hey,
something
man, like,
like that.
I've wept like crazy when I moved to Vancouver last year to pursue acting, and my ex did not want me to do acting. She wanted me to quit, and I was just like, well, if we're not gonna have kids, then I might as well continue this acting career, you know?
Mhm.
And so, anyways, I went to Vancouver last year, And
how was Vancouver? Tell me about Vancouver after this.
I will. I'm gonna tell you. So like Vancouver was great. I couldn't really focus so much on the acting because literally I was there for pretty much less than a month, and then like I was already getting hints that she was cheating and all these type of things, and then all of a sudden when I found out she cheated, I was there in Vancouver on my own, like not sleeping, not eating, just on 2 hours of sleep, and it was hell for me, hell. And if you talk about crying and weeping and shit like that, like it was so bad. I remember my family even saying to me, "Just come back home," and I was like, no, I can do this, I can deal with this, it's fine. And and like yeah, focusing on my forget acting career. After I went through that breakup and I was going through it last year in Vancouver. Like, it hit me so hard, and never in my life did I ever feel like quitting acting. But I literally, I remember even crying, even because I was still talking to my ex, because she would take like 5 minutes of her day to talk to me. Like that was it. Like she spent 5 minutes to talk to me. She's like, I gotta go. And, like I'm like, oh, okay. And so she would. I remember like I broke down crying, saying to her like, listen, I don't think I have the strength to do acting anymore, because it takes a lot of effort to like be an actor and live like as a full-time actor, and like to be like just like I'm gonna keep going and keep trying and keep working hard at it. But like I for my first time in my life, I was just like I told her, I was like I don't think I can do this anymore, like I'm gonna quit. And that was that. And literally this year I was actually, even though the relationship was ending and was broken and whatever, I was literally gonna quit. And then here I am doing a podcast and like talking about doing stand up, and I was like, fuck it. Every time I feel like I'm gonna quit acting, like I'm pulled back in. So,
Okay, man. I can't. Can I take my shirt off? Because it's freaking hot.
Do it,
in here.
man.
Like I'll keep it above the nips if I can.
It's getting hot in here. Yo,
oh my gosh, thank you.
We got a surfer dude in here, man.
Sorry.
Dude, I swear it's because of my background. Yeah, this guy's like, I gotta join in.
No, honestly, like it's weird. I'm outside, but I don't know what temperature it is where you guys are. But it's been like a hot day here, and I don't know. I feel like we're having a good. I'm like heating up in this freaking sweatshirt, and I kept looking around. I'm like, I don't see any t-shirts, but I just see more sweatshirts. Yeah. So here we are. Sorry, guys. We're doing man whore hours here at the podcast.
It's all good, man. We got all our viewers are still sticking around because it's Darren, and Darren gets all the ladies, man. I always have these guests who are like,
oh, just one now. Just one.
Oh,
now.
it's just one now. He gets all the ladies, but he turns them down. And he focuses on his one. But yeah, well, speaking of, now that you have a lady and you also are an actor, how comfortable is she with you doing on camera kissing scenes and sex scenes?
Well, this was one of those conversations you have to have right away, because it wasn't like I'm like, hey, by the way, also an actor. It's like that's one of the first things we gotta talk about. For many things beyond that, it's like, well, unpredictable. Like that's the thing, you gotta get a girl who's like, hey, if you want an account, if you want stability in terms of predictability, then this isn't gonna be it. But yeah, so we talked about it. So, I mean, we'll have to see project to project, right? It's like, okay, if it's some low wage indie project that I don't even like, and they want me to basically be like just hooking up in every scene, then that's something maybe I'm not interested in it. Then probably something I pass up. We'll see. But then it's like, I mean, I'm a straight man, and I'm married, and I'm gonna be married soon.
You're technically pretty much married, man. You're getting married this Saturday.
A few years ago, I was fairly close to booking a USA Network like leading role in this like super gay show, like where I'll be doing really gay scene. I was like, this is intense. I watched Brokeback Mountain to psych myself up for it, and I was like, all right. Well, I was like, well, it's not really fair though. They got Heath and they got Jake. I mean, these guys are two beauties. Like I watched another one to get me really psyched up. It's called. You probably haven't heard of it. Maybe you have. Total Eclipse.
Total Eclipse.
This is it says 1995 Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And when he was a baby boy.
Heard of this movie. Okay.
Yeah, so he's playing a poet named Arthur Rimbaud in France, and dude, this guy was doing gay scenes with a greasy old dude.
Oh man,
like a balding, like not just like a random guy, and I was like, and he's just like doing sex scenes, and I was like, oh, you did this, Leo? Maybe I can do it. Well, I mean, the thing is, these days I don't even know anymore. Like, I feel like they're gonna do background checks. Like, dude, how many cocks have you really sucked? I don't know, man. Are you really gay? So I feel like you gotta be really gay now. So hopefully that issue.
Wait. I missed the answer. So would you do it? Yes or no?
Yeah. What I do kissing
and
romantic
you talked about
scenes.
the gay scene. Would you do the gay scene?
Oh, gay scenes.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me that. What would I? That would really depend on the project.
Oh, okay.
Because it's funny. Yeah, she's like, yeah. I mean, it's.
So you're.
It would. I mean,
so you're open to the idea of if you got the project.
Here's the
it's
thing.
a big movie. You're saying you're more likely to do it. Is what you're saying.
Here's the thing. It depends on how relevant the sexuality is to the character. So if he's like, if it's a very interesting role, if he's going through all these different things, if this movie's about, I don't know, street life, or if he's in the military, or if it's like, if there's a bigger thing and he happens to be gay and there's like one scene, it's like, okay, I guess, that would be more understandable. If it's a movie where I have to play like recently, just recently, I got this breakdown. It was weird. This is actually the weirdest thing in the world, man. So it's interesting for actors here. So breakdown was like, he's aloof. He's kind of like doesn't say a whole lot. He's just like a interesting guy named Damien. And I'm like, okay. And then I read the script, and it says he's a flamboyant gay guy, and he talks like the most like crazy Starbucks drinking like gay guy. And I'm like, not Starbucks is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to do the stereotype. And so I looked at this. I called my manager. I said, dude, like they're gonna find a gayer guy for this, and basically I was like, I can do my own. I can not do this, or I can just do my own thing. So I did like the Darren version of it. I didn't play into the So yeah, I wouldn't want to do like a stereotypical like, oh my god, you over there? Oh my god, hi. Like I don't. That's acting's fun and all that, but. There's so many roles. I mean, well.
But basically, what you're saying is, if you got a Hollywood movie, you're willing to play the role, and your wife's okay with it.
That, to summarize it, it depends on the project.
So that means so when it comes to females, with you getting the role, let's say you got a role on like American Gods, which is a lot of nudity, a lot of sex, you would do the role.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, American Gods, that's like a. I mean, yeah. So I would say, regardless of gender, it's like if it's needless and all about sex and it's not a good story, then really? I probably wouldn't do it. Regardless. Yeah, which is something new. I think I was.
But now that you're married, you're a little bit more mindful for your wife. Is that what it is?
Yeah. But of course, that said, I mean, in terms of like kissing and general romance scenes, that's gonna probably be a big part. But we'll see, man. That's the interesting part about me writing my own movies now. If I can keep this going, like I said, I'm not just writing. I sold one, and it looks really cool. Like the guy who runs the film studio, he seems like he wants to really make more than just one production with me, and he wants to make his own new streaming service and everything, a competitor to Netflix.
That's really cool. Speaking of kissing and things like that, like I mean, I'm not about kissing on screen. Like I don't. Like I'm not kissing. I don't like. First of all, when it comes to even dating, like I don't even kiss on dates, or I don't even go on dates. To me, the idea was like I grew up with always the ideal image of like, when I meet the girl, I'm gonna marry her, and I'm gonna kiss her. Like that was my thing. So even you wanted me to talk about Vancouver. So when I went to Vancouver, early on, like within I think it was like the first or second week, I was pretty much pre-cast for a production as the lead. And this was probably my first lead. And it's funny, the role was about a guy that is going through a breakup with his wife, and then the whole project is about me trying to win her back. And in the end, I do. So I have to romance her in the beginning, and I have to kiss her at the end. So I told my ex at the time that, like, I got to meet with the director, and they want to put me on this project. And then she was like, I don't want you kissing anybody or anything like that. And I was just like, and I was also not about kissing, but I was like, now that I found the girl that I want to spend the rest of my life with, I mean, I have a little bit more of that comfort and that safety of like, okay, if I have to do this project, like if I don't feel right about it, like I always kind of come home back to her. But anyways, she didn't want me to do it, so I had to have that conversation with the director of like thanks for considering me for the role and like wanting to make me the lead, but like I can't kiss the actress. I'm sorry. And like the director was just like, why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not used to that. I mean, people like this. I mean, dude, the Me Too thing was real. I mean, I'm not about blaming every guy ever. Like, I can't. I mean, I was just getting in the industry, and they're like, Me Too, you're part of it. I'm like, dude, I just got here. But, but it's a real thing, and like it's for guys too. Like I've heard stories from guys, like with all kinds of producers. They didn't name names or anything, but they're like, yeah, like male actors with male producers trying to propose, like, proposition them and stuff. So yeah, directors are probably a bit weirded out, like, whoa, you won't even just kiss someone on screen?
I mean,
like, what? Like they're not used. They're used to people who are going to be desperate and do it no matter what. So actually, it probably made you a bit more intriguing. He was like,
I
oh,
don't
okay.
know about that. I mean, I think she's probably, because I think she was more looking at me or like, aren't you an actor? Like, shouldn't you be able to do this? And but anyways, I was totally okay with it, like just giving up projects for my ex and for our relationship and things like that. But there was a time even before that last year I got a part as an actor where I just had to like kind of romance the girl and not kiss her, but like just kind of like hold her hand or put my arm around her or like pretend to take selfies and like our faces get a little bit close. And I remember I told my ex at the time, I was just like, hey, by the way, like, they want me to do this part, and should I do it? And then she's like, no, I don't want this girl coming near you. And
dude, you can't be an actor and have a girl like that. I'm just gonna cough and say right there, dude. That's impossible. It's not happening. And dude, if you want to be a leading actor, like straight up, if you want to be like comic sidekick or something, you can get away with not kissing. But if you want to be a leading man, you're gonna have to kiss a girl or a guy or something. You're gonna have to do something eventually.
It's funny you said that. So, like, when I told my friends and family, like, listen, I turned down the role, and then like even in that production was just like, why, man? You don't have to kiss her. Like, you just have to hold her and like do that. I'm like, yes, sorry, can't do it. And then they're like, okay. And I told my family and friends that like I had to turn down the role, and they're like, why are you an actor? Why are you doing this? These opportunities are coming to you, and you're turning them down. Like, what's happening? You're like, And I was just like, you work so hard for these auditions, and you get them, and now you're turning it down. And I was just like, they're like, just quit the acting. And I was just like, I don't know. So like, yeah, that was the thing. But anyways, now I'm single, so I guess I could go and do all that kind of stuff now. But yeah, I mean the romancing part I could do. I'm not a big fan of like kissing in movies anyways. But there was one movie which I watched and I was just like, dude, if I got that lead role, like I would totally kiss the girl, like because I was just like waiting for the kiss at the end. It was Twilight. I watched it in theaters and I was like head over heels for this movie. I never read the books. There was all this hype on TV and I was like, what's the hype about? Let's go check it out opening day. And I went. I'm loving this movie. And I was just like, dude, I want to get a romance like this. Dude, kiss the girl, man, kiss the girl. And I was just like waiting for it at the end. And he finally did. I was like, yes.
Yeah, man. Like I said, depends on the project, right? Depends on the project. Yeah, man. But you gotta be open to some things. I mean, it's you can have some principles for sure, but yeah, in terms of like can't even express affection on screen, dude. Yeah, at that point you have to pick the girl or the career, and something I've noticed, man, it's not like you don't need to be an absolute all-star. You don't have to be having 6 figures in your bank account, but you need to have the confidence like you do almost with a girl. A girl doesn't want the girl. There are certain gender roles and roles in a relationship that do exist sometimes, and they are there, and you got to do part of it a lot of the time if you want to get if you want to be able to get with a lot of girls. In terms of this, I mean, a girl typically, there's always exceptions, but typically she doesn't want to have to take care of you like you're their child, right? Like they want you to tell them, hey, no, it's going to be okay, and here's why. Hey, no, I'm going to do this. Now, you don't just run over them. You don't say, this is how it's going to be. You say, hey, I have to do this. I hope that's okay with you. Do you have any thoughts on this? Like, and like, what would you have any, like, and you genuinely listen to her input. But a lot of girls, I guess what I'm saying in summary, once again, a lot of girls want you to lead. That doesn't mean tell them what to do or what's good, like everything about life. But it's like you say, this is what the plan is, opinions, and they like that. Some girls will not, because that's how I always get that, right? Like you say that, like most girls do this. Someone's always gonna be like, but some girls don't. I'm like, dude, that's what most means.
Take it from the expert. Darren's in the house. Would you, going back to what you just said, would you give up your career for a girl?
Well, I mean, it's easy now.
Because you're anyway, so you would give it up. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's easy now because she knows that's important. I mean, dude, my career means I have income. That means she has food and a house, and we can have babies, and they don't die from malnutrition.
Would she ever? Would you ever? What if she says like, hey, listen,
Would I have?
Which is like, what if she said to you, "Hey, listen, I got this opportunity for you. You can get a full-time job, which is a 9 to 5. It'll pay you the same that you make from your acting. I want you to quit this career and do this." Would you do it?
Well, she knows how. Like the thing is, well, I mean, I guess I'll play both sides. So first, practically speaking, she knows that this is a passion of mine, that I'm very good at it, that it's the best way for us. And like, I mean, here's the thing, dude. What's my career right now? For me personally, it's like, well, I have a resume built up and an experience and connections building up in this industry. So actually starting off in some other industries, I'm starting from the ground basically. So that's not actually that. It's actually less wise when you get to a certain point. But in general, so yeah, and realistically, it doesn't make sense that she wouldn't. And no, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
And let's just play more like to the question. Like if I was single right now and a girl was saying, "No, you have to quit your career for this," I'd say no, because yeah, no, man, you got to know. You have to learn what your skill set is and how you can apply that to. You know, people say, "Oh, we should just live in a world without money." I'm like, dude, that's not the world we're in. So you can do that if you want. And I'm sure you can have a happy life. And believe me, I'm not a money worshiper by all means. But you have to have enough to feed and have a house. That's the basics.
I mean,
or
I
not a
agree
house,
with
a
that too. But I
like
mean,
an
I guess
apartment,
you're probably more what's the word? More logical. And then I'm the kind of guy that's just like, I just live off of like love and fresh air. I was like, we don't even need a house. We don't even need food on table. As long as we got love and fresh air, that's all I need, baby. Like, you know, that's my mentality.
See, the girl wants they need that. Think about like caveman days. Like they were like, yo, as long as you got my hut. If you go out and you hunt and you bring me back a big old bunch of meat and you build a hut for me, I'll make your world the best world ever. But you know, if that hut starts falling apart, if suddenly she doesn't have any more food, she's gonna see the dude over there, all his meat huts.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why she decided to cheat or whatever. I don't know, but I mean.
No, I'm not saying that, but don't play that, dude. You're gonna kill you. You'll break yourself if you think of it like that.
I'm the kind of guy like, even if things, I mean, talking about hard things or even if things that could break us, like I welcome those things. Like I'm that kind of person. So maybe it's just stupid or weird, but like I like that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like I kind of like the idea of like living off of love and fresh air. I mean, that's just me. Because I mean, that's one of the reasons why I chose to be an actor. Because if I was after like money or money hungry, I would have done so many other careers. You know what I mean? I would have gone into like medical school or just something like that. But I mean, like I know I chose to be an actor, and to me the idea is to you know, try and chase the human emotion and like the state of being, and just like I'm also a hypnotist as well. But that all ties into acting. You know what I mean?
Whoa, slow down. Okay, so I'll say one thing real quick. First of all, just a summary. I'm gonna keep you doing this. I think that you should make sure you have a girl who has that extra sensitivity to account for yours.
I think that's important
because clearly you have that added sensitivity, and that's not a good or bad thing. That's your thing, and a girl needs to know that. Secondly, what the frig? You're a hypnotist. So tell me about that. Like, who have you hypnotized and how and why and what's going on with that?
I hypnotized, I mean, I've hypnotized quite. That's we jump into that. We're already at the halfway point. We didn't even get to any games. But I'll say it in short. The world of hypnosis is very similar to like the world of psychology because it's all part of the same thing. And I guess for me, the drive has always been to understand like the human emotion, understand what's happening inside the person, what's happening inside their mind. Maybe that's what drove me to be an actor. So to me, that was my pursuit. And so I also have a degree in psychology, so like it was an offshoot of that. But yeah, well, I'll get into more of that later on. But we have so much to talk about. We didn't even get to half of this stuff. Yeah.
Also, let me add that, Darren, you don't know this, but you were hypnotized for 20 minutes of this podcast.
Is that a fact?
Yes.
Did I act like I was a chicken or something?
Yes.
Oh, man.
No, you weren't hypnotized, man.
You guys pranked me.
Imagine. That would be a good podcast, by the way, if that ever happened.
No, man. People would be questioning.
You guys are sneaky. That's what the glasses are for. They're secretly just like.
This is like circling.
But yo, I think your wife also made a cameo in the podcast as well. She was in the back like making food or something.
I think so. Yeah. Sorry, I keep kind of like, I'm like, what are you doing? She was sleeping a second ago. Now she's up. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, so right now I'm living. So for right now, because of the COVID, we fled LA. We came back to her. So for one more week, she's my
that's
fiance,
awesome.
and her parents' house here, which is very nice for them to do. But yeah, in the new year we're looking to branch
this is
out.
amazing. And then when you guys when you tell us about how you proposed, man, like what'd you do?
Yeah,
Tell me about it.
that was cool. So we had our 1 year anniversary, and here's the thing is like, okay, I forgot to mention this earlier. Here's the number one way you'll know if someone's right for you: go on lots of long road trips together.
That makes sense.
Because you'll find out if you get sick of someone. And so we spent like every day together, like living together, and then going on very long road trips. That's kind of our thing. We love to drive around. And so on our 1 year anniversary, which was in June this year, I made this big. So we drove across. So from Indiana, we drove all the way across through the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, through like the weird Martian like landscape of Utah. Lots of Mormons too. They'll come out and and then it's where you read actually American history. Apparently the Mormons were like really aggressive. Like they would actually like be like bandits and like just jump like wagon. I don't know. It's the whole thing. I know this because I was driving by the highway there, and like they have like in America they'll have like these. The nice thing about America, it's like, well, one of the cool things if you like history, there's all these so many people here that've been here for a while, and there's so many people who populated everywhere. All these random incidents happen. So on the side of the road, you'll see like historical marker, and I'm just like, let's read it, and it's like. Back in 1872, a gang of Mormons attacked some people here and ate them. I'm like, what? Like, like there's crazy things that happen. And anyway, then I went down through Utah to Arizona, which we like. And one day, and so she kept the whole time. She thought I was going to propose because it was our 1 year, and we were so confident. Like we already we were very confident in that we are going to be married soon. But I didn't like that. I didn't like that it was too predictable, right? And so kind of like kept drawing it out. And I could tell she kind of was getting a little bit like a little bit worried, like maybe I was getting cold feet or something. And so I loved it. So, and then we got exactly on the 1 year anniversary date. I took her out on. There's a picture on my Instagram of this. I took her out into this little in northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona. That's where you went.
Yeah. So it's got this beautiful. Huge, it's like this mountain, and there's this whole, I guess you'd call it a valley of trees below, the biggest pine tree range in the whole world. And I just looked around, there's no one there. I'm like, this is the spot.
So
this is it. So I went down and went
looking for the place.
Yeah. I was like somewhere in this region.
This is the spot. This is the moment, guys.
Yeah, it all worked out so well. Like I was kind of just like, because I pranked her a couple times. Like I'll be like, Katie, do you want to spend the rest of the day doing this? Like, and I'd like do her a few times, and she would always be like, oh, like getting all mad and stuff. And so then this time she thought I was joking again. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. And I was like joking. I was like getting emotional, but I was still making a joke. I was like, and to prove I'm serious, I'm going to say some words to you, and I'm going to say them to you right now. Are you ready? Okay. Well, here I go. And she was like, shut up. And I went down on one knee. And she was going, oh, my God. And I actually did it. And
that's so cute. Did you get on tape?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That's so perfect. So then I did it. And then no one was there. And then like out of nowhere, like a random couple came by. I was like, and this woman yells, did you just propose? And did he just propose to you? And then she's like, yes. And then so she's like, want me to take your picture? And my fiance's like, yes. And then so we got a great in the moment picture.
Nice. Kind of got a picture and everything like that. That's lovely, man. And so like that takes a lot of guts to be like, I'm just gonna like find the spot and I'm just gonna do it randomly, like, you know what I mean, like, but you did it, man, and like you had jokes with it, and I was just like, you joked about it here and there. I would figure that the girl would get like pissed off about it over time, but dude, man, like you have a chill girl. She's cool with it.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you can't have a girl who's gonna snap at you over little things, or else you can't spend 50 years together until you die. It's not gonna work. So yeah, man. Keep your standards up. You'll get a great girl, man. I can tell you'll get someone.
I'm not the kind of guy that chases girls in the first place, but like, but then again, you're a guy that's always had girls come to him, and you said you've dated a lot of girls, so you have a lot of experience.
I will say this, man. I didn't. It wasn't like I was. Here's what it was. It was I could get girls but not the girls I wanted.
What does that mean?
And I was
What did you want?
well, the girls that wanted me and I would accept sometimes would be any girl basically. No, which is like, you know, that's like is glorified. It's a glorified kind of thing in the culture. And actually, I don't like looking in hindsight. I'm like, that was probably stupid. Like I shouldn't. I learned from it. I would teach my kids otherwise. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But the reason I wasn't getting these girls who I was after was because I didn't work on myself enough. It was when I came to God, and through that I stopped. I was drinking. I don't know. I was binge drinking every weekend. And like, so it's interesting. So when you hear binge drinking or like getting drunk every weekend, you know, I thought alcoholism was just sitting by yourself and getting hammered. And I'm like, and that's not it, man. I had friends. I had all these different friend groups. And so I'd go out with my friends every single weekend and like get almost blackout like a lot of the time. And I thought that was normal. It's because that was the group I was with. And dude, that's not normal. It's, yeah. I didn't realize that, and you know, luckily I did eventually. And then I actually had this moment. I took some. So I was thinking I don't do this too often, but I took some weed edibles, but in the hash oil form. It was like it put on toast, and it was weird. Actually, I think I just ate it plain. I don't know. I was with a stoner, a real big stoner, and he was apologizing. He's like, "I'm sorry, man. Probably won't even affect you at all." And he's like, "I'm sorry. Probably won't even get you high." Dude, I said, dude, you have to take me home because I'm done. Like I was free. Well, yeah, I was like, my brain was breaking. I genuinely think I like had an epiphany there, spoke to God kind of thing. And I realized, what am I doing? Like, this was a huge thing. And I was like, I've been doing this for years now. And I just keep going in circles. And how am I going to be extraordinary in my career or in my life if I'm just,
drinking?
you know, oh, I mean, I'm drinking right now. No, but I mean, I'll drink like, this is probably the most I've drinking in one day in like months. Just I mean, it's not a lot. I'm clearly talking pretty good. But what I do is have a cigar and like, you know, I'll pour a couple one of these of bourbon, and that's like once a week. That's not going to get me out of control. But the moral of the story is, as soon as I fixed myself and like I started being responsible, started just kind of getting my mind right. What values do I want? What values would I want? There's two ways to look at it. Let's say I had a daughter, what would I want her to go for? Or more immediately, if I had the girl of my dreams, what standards would I want her to have? Like what kind of girl do I want to attract? Well, I'm not going to attract the girl of my dreams living the life I am, because I didn't want a girl who would just get picked up at a bar by some drunken frat boy idiot, you know, like me. So I cleaned up my act a bit in terms of the drinking and just genuinely taking life a little bit more. I still have lots of fun, man. I'm still kind of crazy.
That's also like your
and it started working out almost immediately. By the way, good things started attracting to me.
That's sick. I mean, one thing for me, like after I went through my breakup, and now it's all on the internet, and I just put it all out there. And the reason why I put it all out there is because it's like I'm not gonna be silent. I'm not gonna like brush it under the rug, which is I'm pretty sure that's what she wants as well. She doesn't want anyone to know about it. And I was just like, no, I'm gonna tell my story and the way it is. I don't want people to think bad about it or anything like that, but I'm gonna tell my story nonetheless. But going through the whole experience, it's like it has opened me up in the sense that like I'm now open to things that I never would have been open to in the past. You know what I mean? Like right now, for like if I got a role and they said, okay, you know what, you have to romance this girl, you have to kiss her, like I could fully commit to it, and I'd be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do that, because I mean I've already done that now. Like I've been with my ex and all that kind of stuff, things like that. But I want to talk about acting. When I saw you, you got you were one of the main leads. I think it was on Holiday. What was it called?
Holiday Joy.
Yeah. And I remember you had to do this scene, and it was high energy. You had to like shout and hit the locker or something, and they made you do it take after take after take. And I remember it was going for a while. I'm like, yo, how's Darren gonna do this? So talk to me about that, and talk to me about your acting technique.
That was the most dangerous scene I've ever done in my life. And I had a scene where I've had fight scenes. Dude, I made them pay me stunt pay for that because it was crazy.
Tell me about that. Hopefully the audience knows what you had to do and what it was, because you had to do take after take, and I was like, shit, man, like Darren's working, man.
But it's funny, like it's like not like if you watch the movie and the scene, like it's a funny scene. My fiance's mom loves. She was watching this movie earlier today. No joke. She loves those kind of movies. It's basically for anyone watching, it's on Canadian Netflix right now. My face is on the cover.
Sick, yo. I gotta look it up.
It's on like when you go. Yeah. So I think it comes back on like in the holiday seasons. It's nothing to do with the holidays. Just a heads up. It was Call of Different Folks, and then the marketing people said we can play it every year if we call it Holiday Joy. And I'm like, do your thing. Get me more airtime. I don't care. So that's that scene. Basically, so this character he starts off as, well, spoiler, he starts off as the golden boy. And you think he's going to be the romantic lead, and they clearly market me as that, like on the front cover of it. Like, but then it turns out not everything is what you think it might be. Like, grass is not always greener on the other side. It's kind of a Freaky Friday vibe of movie, and I slowly have a descent into madness. And by the end, you get like I'm just like a totally like neurotic maniac guy. Like, don't you understand? I'm the coolest guy in school. You should be in love with me. Like, kind of like it's basically that high of like over the top. And I'm like, she goes off. She's like, no, I'm not. It's not about you. It's about this. My neighbor. He's going through a problem. And like, I'm not listening to anything she's saying. My character, and I'm just like, are you telling me you care more about some neighbor boy more than me? And like, I just like freak out and then she's just like scared, and I'm like, answer me. Like, it's supposed to be. It's actually dark. It's supposed to be like a funny moment, but it's also kind of scary. Like, and then so I'm like, answer me, and I slam the locker, and in the movie, it slams off the locker. The door slams back and comes back and hits me in the face, and I fly back on the ground unconscious. Now, in the movie, you're like, oh, that's it actually is very funny, the slapstick of it. But to get the effect of that, they have a pulley. So the door doesn't do that by itself. It doesn't go so quick. So they have a guy pulling it lightning quick back. And so they have me, I think they had me with a knee pad on. So it has to this is crazy. So Bailey Madison, she's a superstar.
If you guys don't know, she's like you've seen her face. She's been in Adam Sandler movies. She's like super famous.
Yeah, she's doing lots of stuff these days. But she's got like millions of Instagram followers, and isn't that what life's all about? Yeah. So she's I have to make eye contact with her the whole time. I can't look at the locker. So then she's here. I have to look at her. Answer me. And then I'm supposed to slam the locker. The guy down there whips the pulley back, so the door slams back. I have to have my knee there, but I have to have it like lined up. I'm standing up straight. I have to have it lined up as close to my nose or as possible without obviously actually hitting my face, so it sells. We had to do this, but it was scary, man, because the thing comes so close. Like they're like, because I kept like having my knee out a bit too much. Like, no, it doesn't look like it. You get a little bit closer, And
to do that scene again and again and again. It wasn't just like just so that the audience knows. It's not like okay, redo, and then they just start with the locker doing. He has to do the whole scene all over again with the acting, and then now apply the adjustments with the knee. And I was just like, shit, man, like. And I just know me, like as an actor, I'd be like, I would have been tired and exhausted by the end of it. And I was like, but you have to keep the energy up because they're only going to use one take.
Yeah, well, man, watch Riot Girls. That's another movie I was in, and that movie was like, I'm like a crazy, like roided out guy. Like this is post-apocalypse. Yeah, I'm good with the high energy roles, man. I think that's what I'm good at because I'm able just to bring it all. I mean, I'm gassed at the end of the day. It's interesting acting. I've done both jobs, man. I've worked in factories and stuff. Like when I was grinding, just like doing my acting training and stuff, I was doing minimum wage factory jobs. That was tiring. I mean, I come home and I'm tired, but coming home from acting, it was similar but different. It was like something. Yeah, no, it's exactly what it is. It's intellectual and emotional exhaustion. Yeah, man. So it's crazy, but honestly, yeah, it's fun. It's like I totally acknowledge that it's difficult and like there's such an art to it and all that. You ask for my technique, and there's all these things. At the same time, it's like I realize that I look at when you read. I recommend to everyone out to read history books, man. And I'm like basically, Yeah, because basically you learn so much about the world and what built it into what it is today, and you see that basically every male generation for all of time had to go to war, and it sucks, man. Like it's so crazy, like, and not just guns, like some guy comes out with you an axe and arrows, like you're just like getting mangled. You die of like some like random paper, not they didn't even have paper, just like some leaf cut. It gives you like, oh, there was poop on that leaf, man. Now you're dying. Like, oh, can you heal me? No.
Yo, the chat's asking, what was the name of the movie again? Holiday what?
Holiday Joy.
Yo,
yeah, that's a good family movie. It's wholesome. It's got Bailey Madison, and we said she's been let's just go with it.
Oh yeah,
Strangers 2.
She's famous. You're gonna know
she's
when you see it for
very
sure.
famous.
But
Colton Stewart's a good guy. You know that guy? Colton Stewart. He's a mixed guy.
Oh yeah, I know
racially.
Colton is. Yeah, I was talking with him at the time. We were both auditioning for the Power Rangers.
He was from Some Assembly Required. He's got a big following. He's killing it right now. He's in Lock and Key. He's doing so many things. Anyway, it's actually got the weird guy from Third Rock from the Sun in it. It's got a girl from Schitt's Creek in it. Oh man,
we got Darren Eisner in it, guys. Don't forget that. Like what?
Darren Eisner. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a good family movie. You know, it's not going to win any Academy Awards, but
dude, you know what the funny thing is, Dipal? I just pulled it up on my Netflix, and it said 2 minutes remaining, so I've seen the whole movie. And you know why? You know why that is? It's because one of my friends was an extra. She was one of the volleyball team girls.
What's her name?
Olga. I don't know if you know her.
Olga?
Yeah, Olga. Yeah.
I did background. I used to do background, and so So Holiday Joe was so cool for me.
Exactly.
Because that was the big break for me. Basically, I had done one principal role before. On Heroes Reborn, or like one scene in NBC's Heroes Reborn. It wasn't as good as Heroes, unfortunately. It was the sequel that no one liked. That I was doing Degrassi background and stuff, and so there was a lot of background actors on there who were doing Holiday Joy, and so I was like, I would go like in
my people.
When there's lunch breaks, like I'd be like with the principal cast, I'm like, yo, I gotta go for a bit. I go to the background, I'm like, yo, guys, what's up? Here's the non-moldy sandwiches. Here you go. Like I'm like giving them.
But yo, you didn't get your acting technique though, because I remember at the time we were talking about acting as well, and you were training at different places, and I was like, so like, you know, who's your coach that you're working with right now? And you're telling me, and I was just like, so like, walk me through like now that you did that movie. And I remember that time that was your first big break. You know, you're super young. Actually, you look pretty much the same as you used to look back then as well.
I don't age, dude, and I'm smoking cigars.
Still got the long hair and everything.
He's 16, right?
In the movie?
No, right now.
Yeah.
And then what happened was you ended up booking all these projects that are like a whole crazy amount of projects afterwards. So has your acting technique changed? Like what do you use? Like is there certain techniques that you normally always go to, or like your certain memory techniques, or when you break down the scene, is there like a certain go-to that you always use?
Yeah, it's fun to think about this stuff. Everyone's got a different thing, right? That's exactly it. You'll find the top tier actors. Well, I think this is the best way to think about it. Marlon Brando, this guy didn't even know his lines. Like he had like in The Godfather, he's reading cue cards, wins like best performance of all time. You know, like some obviously memorable thing. And then Marlon Brando in The Godfather, when he's playing the Godfather of the Mafia crime family, he's reading off cue cards in there, and he has marshmallows in his mouth, or cotton balls in his mouth. So he could talk like this.
Marlon Brando used to do these kind of weird things. He would even for his lines, he didn't care about memorizing the lines. He was always about being in the moment. So he would write his lines on props in front of him and stuff like that, like on the oranges or whatever. Just to, you know.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's not what I would be doing. Like I don't do like some other people. Like I don't have a photographic memory, but it's pretty good. And so what I say, it's funny. People who aren't actors or who are just starting acting will be like, "Oh man, how do you memorize? How do you get lines down?" Especially non-actors. Like, how do you get lines down? And the thing is, as an actor, that has to be like that can't be even a thing. Like that. Like for me at least, like it can't be on your mind, because when you're acting, you're not acting, you're being, and you are someone, and that's when you're at the best acting, is when you're not thinking, you're in the character, in the zone, and you're living in this fake reality. And but it has to feel like reality. But so if you're thinking about the lines, all of a sudden you're not living. You're thinking of you're
Right.
self-aware, right? Here we go. And it's my fiance's dad. He's just getting a snack.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
He's just eating.
Yo, tell him to join in.
Yeah.
I want to know about his acting method.
Yeah. So so for me, I'll tell you a couple things I did. So when I first started out, I think what I did was I'd record on my phone. For my acting classes, I'd record the other person's lines, and I'd say them, and then I'd try to time it so I could fit my responses in. That's flawed because you're not going to be able. Yes, I wouldn't recommend that long term, but it was good for a little bit, and then it is tough for a little bit, but then you basically practice, man, and like hopefully eventually. I know a guy who was acting professionally or is acting professionally for years, like over a decade. I think he's been doing it since he was from a teen, and now he's in his 30s or something like that. And this guy, like, I had to sit down. He's like, "Want to run lines with me?" And dude, I didn't like. He had to read the whole lines 10 times over, just read them. Like it was like very mechanical. And I was like, whoa, dude, I hate that, but that works for you. For me, what I do now is I just go bit by bit. Like I'll try to get down the scene in chunks. And my memory is strong enough, luckily, from the practice. Or I could basically I can get down a scene really quick.
So that's about, as far as technique goes, from breaking down the scene. Do you start with like what's your go-to?
Yeah. Yeah, that's more interesting. It's way more interesting. The line stuff it's important from the basic, but after that it's more interesting. So yeah, I guess I don't subscribe to necessarily a technique. I think perhaps it's I think I've read a bit about this the Meisner thing. I don't know, man. Basically, yeah, I'm not like a technique guy per se. Like, but that's not me shaming because, like I said, everyone's got their thing. My thing is just learning as much about the real world as possible. You kind of alluded to it earlier. Every experience you have will make you a better person or a more complete person. And when you're a more complete person, there's more in your eyes. More you're actually able to portray things on screen. So I try to just live as much as possible. And yeah, just my imagination. Your imagination. That's it. That's what it is. It's the imagination. So whatever technique involves imagination the most, that's me.
You're not method, like you could be like, I got to think of the moment before I do the who, what, when, where. You don't do any of that stuff.
Used to do it. Like, yeah. So I think that there's that some people maybe they always have to do that. For me, that was good for a time, but then after a while, it's like, okay, that now it's taken me out of it. Oh, but you have to have a drive. Like it's. So I will still let's say for an example, I'm trying to think of auditions I've been doing. So if my character's been drinking, dude, yeah, I will method sometimes. Like, why not, dude? If I'm cold. It's fine. Yeah, so if my character has been drinking, I've gotten drunk for in scenes. In several of my scenes I'm drunk, even when I'm not supposed to be drunk. But I wouldn't recommend that. But I was drunk I was drinking for a couple party scenes, I will say. And then for like a scene, like if I'm in a fighting scene, I kind of hit myself a little bit. Like if I'm gonna be cold, I'm gonna be a little bit cold. I'm not gonna be a psychopath about it. Like some people you hear, like Daniel Day-Lewis on the set of Gangs of New York. This is a crazy story. So because this was the 1800s, he refused a modern winter coat on set. No, I wouldn't be wearing this. I wouldn't be wearing this. And he almost got pneumonia and died. No, he got pneumonia and almost died. That's what it was. Wow. So, yeah, you don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to, like, come on, dude. And then one more little story about one of these. So this is apparently a story an interaction between Dustin Hoffman and Sir Laurence Olivier, the most famous play actor of all time. And they showed up on set one day, and Dustin Hoffman looked really rough, and he's like, and Sir Laurence Olivier says, "Oh, Dustin, what is the matter?" And he's like, "I have, my role. I'm supposed to be an insomniac, so I haven't slept for days." And then Sir Laurence Olivier goes, "Oh, Dustin, honey, it's called acting," and so basically that's two different schools of thought, right?
Some people use.
Yeah, man. So I say incorporate a bit of everything, but the most important thing above all, you have to retain that little bit of childlike imagination. Oh, we're in a war zone. Oh my gosh, like you have to actually be able to think you're in a war zone. If you can do that, I feel like I really loved looking up to Leonardo DiCaprio, especially early on, because I think what everyone loves about him is he's got that. He's got that even this day. He's got this childlike aura about him a lot of the time in terms of his joy and like especially his younger stuff though. You can see a lot of childlike joy. Like he's just like you can tell he's got a crazy imagination, a lot of energy.
About drive.
Man.
You said you use drive a lot in your technique. What do you mean by that?
I would say that I'm not sure if I said drive.
That's drive. Like you got a character's got to have this drive or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's important. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, you have to have something driving you through a scene. So yeah, that would be your motivation, you might say. So yes, sometimes like if I'm doing an audition and I'm like, and I'm just kind of, I'm like something's missing. I'm saying the words. It's just because you can when you get to a certain level. I'm not trying to boast or anything, but I can put on a good tape like that. But is it going to be the best tape? And is it going to blow? Because man, there's like 100 other actors who are going to do a good tape. You want to do a great tape. That's the thing. So I would say that sometimes I'll get there and I'll be like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'll get pissed. I'll be like, what am I doing? And I'll think of my character. What do I want here? Okay, so I'm trying to get the girl. And then I don't get her. And then I change my strategies and, I'm going to go. And then, I back off. Anyway, so basically I'm just like, what am I actually thinking? And it comes back. But look, once again, what does it come back to? Imagination. You have to have that creative imagination. If you don't have that, you're done. And so that is what you have to rely on above all, because no matter what you've experienced, you've never experienced it in the exact same way as this character. You've never been this person. You've never lived that exact situation.
Man, there you go. You guys got it from a pro. Uses his imagination. What about you, Roberto? What's your acting technique?
Yeah, I feel like Roberto, I want you to talk a lot now because we've just left you in the silence. He's over here just like on Tinder swiping.
How did you know? How did you know?
I apologize, man.
I stole your IMDb line. I'm like, I have a bright future. Please swipe right.
I love it.
Actually, to be honest, I don't even act that much. Like, my main thing was, like, I showed Dipal some of the music I made. And recently, I just, like, put arts aside and I, like, went into the business world. So doing startups and web applications and stuff like that. And I found a lot of passion in that world.
We know that Roberto's still into the arts, man. Look at him. He's got look at his style and
I
look
like,
at his background. He's
I like
hanging out at the beach.
I know, and I like to be funny, but I like the corporate world for some reason. I don't know.
That's you're in the. That's a lot more practical. They give you a wage every week that way.
Are you gonna transition out of acting into something else in the future, Darren, or what's your long-term plan, or do you I want to be acting even whenever I'm 50 and 60? Or producing it, or writing, or like.
So first of all, I'm really good at writing, man. Like, I'm pretty confident. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to be like it's like the Kanye West thing, right? You got to balance it. You don't want to go full like into crazy land. But a lot of the things that guy says is like is true. He's like, well, I'm obviously the most creative producer of our time in the hip hop industry, and I mean he says of all art, but he's also in hip hop. I'm like, well, technically, probably true, I guess. I'm not gonna say I'm the best or anything like that, but like, I'm pretty good at acting. But my writing, man, watch out. That's something that's so exciting for me because that's something. You can say you're as good as something, you can be as good as something, but good, good and greatness. If you don't actually have the credits or you don't get things done, you have to get things done. If you don't get things done, then no one's ever gonna know, and then it is what it is. So the fact that I'm getting off the ground, and here's the thing, man, I sold the screenplay, but they have to still put it into production, and I think, and they very much want to. We have a meeting tomorrow, dude. I told them like we're having a e-meeting. I'm getting married soon, so we gotta get something going here. I don't want to do rewrites on my honeymoon.
Is it sorry to cut you off, but you're getting married this weekend, and then do you have a couple days off, or you go on your honeymoon, or?
Dude, I have 2 weeks off. Going on 2 week
honeymoon.
I'll do some writing. If they say tomorrow we need to do some more, I'll be pissed off if we do some more rewrites. I've done a bunch of rewrites, man. Have you guys ever written stuff?
I'm as far as screenplays go, I haven't. I mean, the only thing I've written is for like the stuff I'm writing in Instagram that could and possibly it could be turned into a book, or the stuff that I'm writing for stand-up. That's pretty much it as far as my writing goes.
Yeah, For me, it's just like school projects.
Imagine you were writing a book and then someone told you, "Oh, dude, the whole friggin' half of this book needs to be changed completely." You're like, and it's you know, it's one thing to say. Actually, yeah, it does suck. But for me, I hear it right now. I'm like, well, it sucks. But dude, when you actually look at the project, yeah, I guess if you actually think about something you've written and you have to change pretty much a lot, like half of it, we'll say.
Oh, that'd be tough.
Like,
I mean, it'd be tough. It'd be also kind of creative as well, because they're like, okay, fine, now it's become a collaboration. It's not an independent project anymore. It's not just my creation.
That's what you have to look at. You have to look at it like that. You know, Sylvester Stallone says something like that. He said the first thing you learn in this industry is collaboration. He wrote Rocky in 2 days. I bet you it sucked.
He painted the windows black. Made sure he finished it before when we got out of the room.
Yeah, it's crazy because he looks so dumb and sounds so dumb. But like, you know, so I have to imagine every 5 words were spelled. I know every word was spelled wrong. He spelled A wrong. Like there was an I, there's an F. He's like, I don't know, man. But look, collaboration. Obviously, he had a great idea.
And look, he pulled it off. And I remember like a lot of even.
Yeah, he pulled it off. And
I know, right?
He got like a 7 movie
and not only that.
8, 10. We got 10 movies now. It's like Creed's now. We got a whole new world
I
going
learned from
on.
Sylvester Stallone from listening to him, and he talked about screenplay writing and all that kind of stuff. I wrote like a few like just short ideas for movie ideas and script ideas that if I were ever to turn this into a movie, this is what I want to write. So like I listened to Sylvester Stallone to see like what was his technique and things like that, and I think his technique is really good for a lot of people that want to create a movie, because it's really simple, and it's and I think it works, because I mean that's what I got down, but I didn't get to the level like you did, where you finished it, you wrote the whole script, and you got the dialogue done and everything like that, and I think that's pretty impressive. That must have taken a lot of time.
Gotta do it. Gotta
do it.
It's all about, what did he do? His first thing was he did it in 2 days. Did it. Like I bet you it sucked compared to what it became. But it was clearly the general him doing it. Obviously the producer said, well, you have something here. Like, so the guy, this is crazy, man. So coronavirus was hitting, like all the civil unrest in the summer. I was like, this is insane, dude. Like, I feel like I'm not gonna, I feel like acting is off the table for at least a few months. So like, I can't just sit around here. Like, I'll go crazy. So I found out someone. I looked up some actors I liked. Like, this guy's made movies with Vince Vaughn and Kurt Russell and Mel Gibson, some like real like masculine, like kind of like Western kind of. Well, not all Western, but I want to make a Western.
You seem like a guy that could be in a Western, man. Yeah.
Hey, cool. I want to hear that. Yeah, that's good. Well, I can't. The thing is, I don't age yet, so I'm not asking to age.
Yeah, you can still play high school. So lucky you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so so that'll happen when it happens. Right now, I'm playing the young guy. The character. So I'll calm myself down, baby. Calm it down. I get all excited and jittery. So what happened is I reached out and I broke. Well, we had like a little bit of a conversation going on. Actually, well, okay, I was gonna.
Tell him.
There was some crazy.
Don't cut it off. Oh, I can't.
Actually, I don't. Okay, exactly. That's what I realized. So I was talking to someone in this company, and without getting into it. The company had major scandal and all these issues, and it wasn't the guy at the top. It was certain people in it, and one of the people involved was the guy I was talking to. That's the best way I can put it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like I was finally getting somewhere, and then this guy's not even in the company anymore. But then I was like, you know what? Well, maybe this way I can talk to the head guy now. Maybe I can talk to the head guy. And so I went balls out. It was on my anniversary trip. So I was coming back through Texas, and this company's based in Texas. They wanted to do something different, something away from LA, and I'm always about different and do something weird, right? And so he's like, I said, I broke all the rules. They say keep your emails short and concise. I did a short version, and I gave him like a 2-line thing. And I said long version. I wrote him an essay on how we have to work together, like a crazy guy. And I was like, well, this will either work or he'll think I'm a crazy person. And he said, come by my office. Here's my cell phone number. We'll set up a meeting. I didn't know what to expect. And so this is, for all the dreamers out there, this is like the best case scenario. I showed up there wearing a John Wayne shirt. Like, dude, no one's making like they make like one Western every 5 years now. Like, it's like not very often. There's good ones. 310 to Yuma. That was like 10 years ago. That was good. Hostel, pretty good. The Magnificent, I'm not sure if that was good or not. Anyway, Oh yeah, the Quentin Tarantino did one. Anyway, Django obviously as well. That's not the one. The one that wasn't as cool. But moral of the story being, I went in there wearing this John Wayne shirt. This guy said, "Hey, so I read your other script." He's like, "I don't want to make that movie. However, you have something. You have something good, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write up a contract, and I'm going to take a chance on you. I don't know how it's going to go, but I have a good feeling about you, and." How about you make a Western movie? Like, he sees my shirt, I'm like, dude, yeah. He's like, yeah, let's make a Western. And he's like, make a John Wayne kind of movie, make something like, and so yeah, it's a process, man. So I come back to him a couple of times in the last meeting. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Like lock this in the time capsule, because yeah, our last meeting was he had some issues with some of the dialogue still, and I'm like, because the last movie I made, I was getting notes saying dialogue is killer, your tone's amazing, but the story needs work. Now he's like, the story is perfect, but your dialogue needs some touching up. And I'm like, oh, I thought I had it. So I made some more serious changes with the script, this is a different.
We'll see. This is a different script than the one you sold, right?
It's the same script.
So the one that you sold this is the story of the one that you sold, which is a Western.
Yes. Yes. So it sold from me just taking a chance and then saying, I framed it wrong. I didn't just have the email and then he said, come by. I was bold. I said, I'm coming through Texas. I was going to go around. Well, he's from this Dallas area. And so I was like, I'm going through Dallas. I wasn't going to go through Dallas, but I was going near it. So I was like, I'm going through Dallas. I want to let's meet up, man. Let's meet up. I said, let's meet up. And he said, okay. And that's how it works. So I'd recommend, you got to be bold sometimes, Can't be a crazy person. Don't don't be like, please no, like after they say no. They can't keep going over and over again. You have to have a bit of intensity to you, a bit of boldness. But yeah, so I went and I got the meeting and it blew all my expectations. We're really getting along. And so I'm hoping tomorrow we're ready, because he's saying he wants to attach a mate. He's worked for these major stars already. And basically he just needs to be confident in the quality of it, that he can risk his own reputation, or put it on the line and say, hey, megastar who will make this movie happen, this is a good script, and I think so too. Man, it's crazy.
Are you allowed to disclose what the name of your project is?
The Outlaw from Arkansas. How's that?
Sick, man. Are you gonna take part in the movie?
Yeah.
Can I ask a business question there?
Yes, I actually went to school for business, by the way.
You went to school for business?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Now I just had a question, like how these contracts work. Is it like they buy it and then if it goes into production, you get a royalty?
So if you sign a contract with Hollywood, they'll probably take your soul and screw you over.
Okay.
Well, here's something you probably won't hear often. Get a little screwed over on your first gig.
Okay.
So I heard someone say that once. Now, you don't go looking for it, obviously. You try to get the best deal. But here's what will happen in Hollywood, or almost all productions. You'll sell your script, and they own it, and you don't have a say after that. This guy, dude, honestly, I genuinely, like I said, into Christianity, this guy's also a Christian, but we're not making a Hallmark movie here. So here's the thing, guys. I'm not sure if you've read, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Bible. It's rated R, baby. Like, I'm not sure if you know this, but the star of the show gets friggin' nailed to a cross. It's pretty graphic.
I've heard.
Yeah. So it's like the things in the Bible are not like a Hallmark movie. I like Hallmark movies. They're very nice and wholesome. But this guy we have similar values in that regard. We like Westerns. We like Christian themes and things like that. So we kind of had this bond, and I think I kind of lucked out. I'll say that much. And but I'll tell you roughly the contract, roughly speaking. I got what you call a dream. As long as this gets made, I got a dream situation. So I didn't get a whole lot. I got a good amount for a guy for all of us working actors out there. I got a good amount for a blind. First of all, he gave me a certain amount of money for nothing. He just gave me money off the top before giving him anything. And at that moment, and that's probably a good way of saying, like, hey, I'm not just a scam artist. He just gave me money. I'm like, cool. I didn't have to do. He said, he's like, you can just walk away and not make a movie. You can just steal my money, basically. But then I got a second half of that when I completed the first draft, and then and then to explain the business side, I'm getting a bonus if we make it into production, and then I will get a percentage of sales. But man, I might be producing. No. I am producing this thing if it's getting made. I'm going to be a producer credit. And he said, like, we're not, the only thing we can't confirm actually is me acting in it. He says this shouldn't be a problem, but it's going to depend on the director and the star liking me, basically, or like wanting me to be this character. And I wrote the character based on me. So if I can't get this role, maybe I retire from acting and I stick to writing.
So you're gonna play the role in there, or you guys are looking to find someone else?
Here's a recommendation if you're gonna write, if you want to make a big time movie. Honestly, this is like crazy. This is outlandish. What happened to me is outlandish. But what I would recommend is write a smaller role. So this role is still really big, but he told me make yourself like a supporting lead, which is my similar. Well, yeah. So it's basically, I don't know if you guys ever seen like the old westerns, like a Clint Eastwood movie.
I mean, I haven't watched
like,
I haven't watched
that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
they're kind of they're dated, but yeah. So basically, often you'll have like this like old rugged gunslinger coming to town. Then there's some young hotshot guy like, hey man, I'm the fastest shot, you know. But he's like some spunky guy, you know. And then you got the romance, and you got the bad guys. I'd be the young guy. Sometimes there's a young bad guy, right? He's like, you know, he's a young psych, but so. I'm not the main guy, but I'm still pretty big, and obviously sharing that kind of screen time with a star, and it's still a huge role. It's very exciting.
It's a huge thing that you have going for you. So man, I really hope that it hits off and it gets picked up and it gets greenlit and everything like that. And then we'll have you back on as well. And you tell us about your project, and you can plug it, man. Like we'll be like, yo, Darren's a producer. Check it out, man.
And then next time we'll because this one I think we'll have to shoot it in America because I want to shoot it in the desert, but if I shoot something in Canada, man, we can get you involved. Maybe
that'd be sick, man. We'll check it out, and it's gonna be a western. I'm looking forward to it, man. I just hope that it gets greenlit, and you get to be a part of it, and I'll be like, yo, that's gonna be like the story of I don't know if you watched the show Grand Army on Netflix. That one, she was an acting coach. Sorry, she wrote it, and then she's a writer for the series, she hired a lot of, apparently is what I heard, and this is allegedly, of course, that she a lot of her students were cast for it because they were suitable for the roles. So that's kind of cool whenever someone kind of.
Dude, people cast. Sorry, were you gonna say something at the end there?
It's kind of cool when someone's just trying to get a project done, and then it finally takes off, and then they're up to include the people around them as well.
Yeah, man, it's like people often do that. I mean, they look at Martin Scorsese over his career. Who's his leading men? Like 3 dudes. He loves Robert De Niro. He loves Leonardo DiCaprio. He loves a couple other Italian guys. It's a lot of the time with a lot of Quentin Tarantino. You see a lot of the same guys. I would love to direct one day. I actually wanted to. He asked me to think of directors. This is the kind of control he's giving me. He's like, think of directors you might want to get involved. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you're good. It's a dream come true. But like in my head, I was like, actually, I told him like, dude, I wouldn't mind directing this, but it's, what's really funny? It was really funny, very funny reaction. I've never had such a terrible reaction to my acting, but in such a good way. So I sent him a tape because I sent him a tape of me acting in the role I wrote. And I went bold. I always go bold. I guess I'll say that. I'll also say that I always go make the strongest choice for my audition tapes. And so I went like all crazy intense. And so I said, we're on a last meeting we had. I was like, and at the end of it, I was like, well, what do you think of my audition tape? He's like, he laughed. He said, oh man, I'm going to bring you way down and bring you in. We're going to rein you in. It'll be good though. It'll be good. So I've never heard someone like it. So like, wow, you did a terrible job, but we'll work with it anyway because you're good. But I sent him another one like last week, and he's like, yeah, that's good.
Well, that's cool, man. You met this contact, and you guys are vibing well, and everything's working out, right?
Yeah, dude, yeah. It's all about connections. It's all about who you know, man. And it's not all about it's about your energy. It's about a whole mix of things coming together. And dude, just honestly, here's the thing in life. It's like. You can't make anything happen. You can't do anything you want, but you can do a lot of things. That's a good way to think of it. Like here's like if you ever played a video game, we're supposed to do that. Remember you created a player, and you usually have a certain level of attributes. You can't make 10 strength, 10 agility, 10. You can't be 10 everything. So as humans, we are all given, I think, base attributes, and we all each have like certain levels we can get to. For me, I can never be in the NBA. You know, it's not happening, baby. They have very small rosters, and I'm not that big of a dude. And I've got tenacity, but that's about. And it's funny. I had this conversation with someone once. Someone you might actually know. I won't say the name, but he's a background guy, and he was so positive thinking, which is cool. But I said this to him, and he's like, "Dude, no, man, you could be in the NBA." And I'm like, "No, but I can't."
I like that way of thinking.
Yeah, man, because you don't think you can. And I'm like, "Oh no." We had like the debate for 5 minutes, and I'm like, "All right, man, I don't care." Like,
I'll be in the NBA.
Whatever.
Fine.
Yes, but basically, it's like we can do a lot of things. Yeah, as long as like, hey, like, what's your basic? If you have like, clearly, man, you have a basic. Like you at least have like an entry, like you are in the acting world and you're doing arts and you're an emotionally sensitive being, so you have huge potential. You can probably go far in the arts. And Roberto, you know, you said you clearly dabbled in the arts, and you're like, oh, I also like business. And so clear. I mean, if you can get past an entry level area for anything, clearly that shows you have potential there. And then you have to line it up with your passion, to use another word. So yeah, you follow. If my passion is something like if my passion is basketball, it's like, baby, we gotta find something else to pay the bills. You know, you gotta morph it all together, and then just keep leveling up, man. You gotta keep practice, and so be realistic, but be a dreamer. Be a realistic dreamer.
That's sick. You definitely could be like a motivational speaker, man. You got all this energy to be like, yo, you can do this, you can do that, and
yeah, I'm tired too. This is crazy. I feel like I'm getting more energy as we go along. Like that happening in the reserves. I was up at 7 this morning, 7:30. I went to sleep at like 1:30.
Oh, wow. So you're an early riser, man.
Yeah. I had church to go to.
Hey, man, you know what your priorities are, and at least you take care of that, right?
Night before I was watching UFC. You guys watch UFC?
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely. Did you watch last night?
I didn't.
Was it good?
I'm gonna go back to watch it.
Well,
no spoilers.
Good, but the last fight of the night was great, so I was glad I was up for it. But it's friggin', I was up till past 1. I was annoyed a little bit, so I was sleeping like a baby.
Okay. Quick question. So like now you're gonna get married and you're going on this 2-week honeymoon and all things like that. In your relationship, man, what do you do to keep the romance alive?
Anal.
You know what? I have no problem saying this. You know what? Something really crazy. This is like, how are we capping it with this, dude? We have never had sex.
Interesting. Okay, because
saving it till
that's
here's the crazy thing. I have. She has.
Okay, so you're her first relationship in her life?
Yeah. No, but first. Well, I will be the first. She's been saving till marriage. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. And so, yeah, it's like, yeah, man. Honestly, when you have such a strong connection with someone, you don't have to work. I don't think you have to make an effort, but it's not work. And I think that's a big thing. You know, that's a cliche. It's like when you love something, it's not work. It's like, but it's true. It's true, man. Whether it's your career or your yeah, it's a cliche, but it's a good one.
I think it makes sense. I think it's just when you love something, you're probably are working, but you don't realize that you're putting in the work, and it's already there. That's probably why. But yeah.
So you do do some romantic, sort of cut you off again, but yeah, once in a while I find myself being a little lazy because, dude, we've been living together this whole year, so so you can sense yourself kind of getting complacent. So if I ever catch myself like maybe not giving her the attention I should, I'll do something unpredictable, like, oh, today you want to go for a drive? She said, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, do you know where you want to go? She says, no. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to get in the car. We're going to go somewhere. And I'll just do something. I'll do something fun. Like, so yeah, man.
Cute, man. That's pretty cute. What do you guys have planned for your honeymoon? Are you guys going anywhere special or like
trips, baby? We love 2 weeks. Road trips. So we're going down through the deep south. I've never been down through some of these states. We're going down through Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama to Florida. We're gonna go stay in Florida at the beaches. Apparently, it's one of the best beaches in the world. Never been. White Sands, Siesta Key, near Tampa, Florida, Tampa Bay. So we're gonna go down there, and then we're gonna come back up through the Smoky Mountains. You guys, now I didn't know about the Smoky Mountains.
Dude,
you guys know about
I don't know any of this stuff that
idea.
you're talking about. I was like, I need to do some research, man. I wish I had done some road trips.
Yeah. Well, I'm big. I'm just like a huge. I got this weird, like some weird things. Like I love looking at maps and I just like history and stuff. Anyway, but the Smoky Mountains, the Forgotten Mountains, they're in like this weird area, kind of like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee. That's kind of where you find some like mountain people. You know, it's like, you know, it's, I don't know. I've never been there, so I can't tell you that much about them, but apparently it's beautiful. So it's so we're doing all sorts, and then we're gonna come back and yeah, man. Then it's gonna be like it's gonna be Christmas season. Oh,
what do you have planned? Do you have anything planned,
So,
romantic for Christmas for you to keep your spicy romance alive?
well, man, we're gonna be we'll be freshly having lots of sex. That'll be happening. That'll be fun.
Great success.
Yeah.
Has it been difficult?
How much?
Has it been difficult for the past year to not? I mean, you said you were in obviously past relationships and you were having sex and getting intimate, and obviously getting to this relationship and you're not doing that. Was it difficult to adjust? Was it?
Dude, she's the best woman I've ever met in my entire life. No one I would ever want to spend the rest of my life with. It's the easy. It's the, and once again, like so with Christianity, it's more than just saying I'm a Christian. What did Jesus Christ do? Well, regardless of if they believe the original or not, so the story goes is that he died on the cross. Dude, that's intense. Ow! Like that. Like, do this to yourself a lot. Ow! It hurts. Like just doing that. Imagine a nail. So. Yeah, so he died for our sins. That's the moral of that, and that you see that played out. The idea of sacrifice in many stories. You see that happen in our movies and our books. And so, okay, so people have, and that's not just Jesus. Let's get into war stories. You hear about a war hero who just like, he saved his. All these movies we love often, like Braveheart, another great one. People are willing to die for something they believe in. Well, dude, after being a freaking partying bum most of my big chunk
boy.
Yeah, that's the better. Yeah. Try not to say it, but basically, being a fuck boy. I think I can basically sacrifice, and like I honestly felt like I owed it to God. To be honest, if I'm being honest, I was like, I feel like I gotta have some penance. I have to kind of do some reparations for what I've done, and so it's with that in mind, it's been easy. And yeah, so that'll be fun, and we'll be watching lots of Holiday Joy over and over again.
What about what about in terms of contraception? Do you guys believe in using birth control pills or condoms, or is it no contraception?
Birth control is really, that's controversial, I guess. It's not controversial, man. Guess what I'm saying, boys? It's a fact. Birth control messes with a woman's hormones, and they don't really talk about that much. Women know this. And some women maybe it doesn't hurt them, mess them as much, but other women it can. And so we're not. And it's she's on board, and it's her idea mostly actually. So she's not gonna be doing birth control, and I well, what's saying? So we're not gonna use a condom first night because that's the way she wants it. But we'll use condoms because. The thing is, like, I mean, I believe I'm not a Catholic. I was actually, so it's just Christian. If you're not Christian, you won't get it. But I was born and raised. I was raised Catholic, but not really. Then I kind of stepped away. Then I came back. Now I'm more not Catholic. Protestant is what you call it, but that's like a million different things. Anyway, so moral of the story is the Catholic Church used to be, or you might have heard them being anti-condom. I don't really get that. I'm not Catholic, like I said, anyway. But it's like, if you just jerk off, a baby's not going to grow out of your hand.
I see.
It's like, so I'm not ending the life by having a condom. It's
this is
it's
like
actually more
that you guys made together. That you guys said, okay, this is how you guys are gonna.
To be honest, she wants a. So we're planning on having a kid with within 2-3 years. Well, she would say 1 to 2.
Wow. Okay, so you guys have already planned it. Like you guys are getting married this year, and then now.
Hopefully my boys are swimming right.
So you guys are planning to have kids within like in about 2 or 3 years.
I would have like 10 kids.
Is that really the number you're going for?
I would like 12.
Are you serious? Like I mean, like serious? Like in all seriousness, you're gonna go for like a dozen kids?
I would like to have as many as financially makes sense.
Okay, cool, man.
So so I plan on being a millionaire, obviously, because that helps. What's with the snow? It's fine. But yeah, so that's the dream. I'm not gonna like, I don't want to be I'm not gonna make a sideshow of it, but it's like that's that's what we're commanded to do in the Bible. And if you want, once again, for the secular folks, or having lots of kids, well, having any kid, having one kid, it's what you're meant to do biologically. And I mean that in that you can see scientifically hormones are released when a parent has a kid. They have such a strong bond, and they always say, "Oh, you never know unless you're a mom. You never know unless you're a dad." Like, and that's true because they have certain things that go off in their brain, and it's even stronger when you have grandkids. It's like apparently, apparently there's been studies
like
where
the connections in the brain, they change when you have children. Right?
No, get this. There's been studies where older people have had some Alzheimer's or some kind of dementia, and when they saw their grandkids, they lost some of that. Like they started coming back a bit. Like their brain got empowered again. It was like kind of like, I would say God. That's basically God saying, "You did it." But, otherwise it's clearly a biological encouragement. So obviously, if you can't have them, then obviously it's not like God's mad at you. It's like, dude, it's like you gotta go. That's not your way, right? It's something you figure out the next thing. Adopt, dude, adopt. Oh my gosh, there's so many kids in foster homes, and those places are not the best places a lot of the time. So ideally, we have our biological kids, and if that doesn't work out,
man, I'm glad you finally you found your love story, and you have your life already planned out. You got your career planned out. It's all unfolding.
And now there'll be civil war, and it's going to derail everything, and we'll go into the apocalypse. It'll be fine.
Even if we went to the apocalypse, I know Darren's always going to be smiling, man. He's always, even if he's tired, man, he's got so much energy. He can do 100 push-ups. That's what the chat's saying.
Yeah, no, man, that's so. I can do good. I can do a lot of push-ups. Yeah. There was you guys do that month. There was like you got to do like a different amount every day recently.
I think it was like some push-up challenge going on, but I ain't nobody challenged me, so I ain't do no push-ups.
What's the most? We should do a challenge next time. That's what we'll have to do next time.
I'll do 20. I'll cap it at 20.
All right, Darren. That's our time. We went a little bit over, but guys, that was a lot of fun. We didn't get to any gaming because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Darren's got a lot to talk about. I know next time he's on, he's going to have tons more to talk about. And if we kept this going, we would still have tons more to talk about. But yo, thanks for coming on, man. I know I reached out to you a while ago, and you were just ready to go on right away. And I was just like, we'll set it out so you have more time to prepare for the stream. But yo, man, I'd love to have you back on again, man. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was a great time.
All right, guys, I'm gonna sign up here. I'm gonna end the stream. You guys don't hang up yet. I'm just gonna say bye to everybody who's watching. Thanks to everybody in the chat.
Wait, Dipal, I gotta take this thing off.
Oh, what's happening?
You gotta get it real. This is face reveal.
Oh my goodness! For everybody who's in the chat.
Oh,
he's not French like you guys thought.
He still looks pretty French.
I gotta be myself.
That's a French face.
Roberto
French hair.
Everybody in the chat's going, oh shit. That's
what you call a last minute cliffhanger. It's like
everybody's like, oh, like holy shit. Well, this is Roberto in the flesh. Take off the mask.
It feels so much lighter.
Spider-Man took off his mask. He's asking everybody for their help.
I know.
All right.
Yeah, that was a fun chat though. That was a fun podcast.
Yeah, it was fun. And guys, everybody who's watching, tune in next Sunday. We're gonna have another podcast with another guest, 9 p.m. Eastern. And guys, you make sure you guys stay on. Say bye to the chat. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it.